Are you looking to sell your property without all the usual headaches associated with traditional property sales? Maybe you're looking for a straightforward, hassle-free, quick sale. We've got you covered at G67 Home Buyers. Ditch the stress of endless viewings, the waiting game with property chains and the buyers missing deadlines. No matter the condition or location of your property, we're ready to buy. And guess what? We'll give you an instant cash offer, no traditional hoops to jump through. We get it. Sometimes you just need to sell fast, and we're here to make that happen. We'll often be able to buy in just a few days. You no longer need to worry about the sale falling through after weeks or months. We have buyers ready now. We handle everything for you, even paying your legal fees, and there is no hidden fees or estate agent commissions to pay. Just a smooth, easy sale with us by your side, helping you every step of the way. I am David Smith, and I will personally help you find a hassle-free solution to selling your property fast, beginning with a free, no obligation cash offer for your property. Remember, I am here to help. So get in touch in the link below and let's chat.
Welcome to a special episode of Social Sessions, Bars Through the Ages, voices from generation behind bars. Today I'm joined with three legends in their own rights, Johnny Boy Steele, Joe Steele and Hawaii Fivo. Together we have spent well over 50 years in prison combined, but the difference between us was the generation of prison we come up through, each of us with their own experience of the prison system spanning decades. Join us as we explore the evolution of incarceration from the past to the present and consider what it means for the future. This is Bars Through the Ages, voices from generation behind bars. So welcome to Social Sessions, guys. Today we've got a special episode. We've got some great guests on here to talk about generational prison and the different eras and how it affected everybody in different ways. So we've got Johnny Boy Steele. How you doing, Johnny? First time on here.
I'm fine, thank you.
Brilliant to have you.
Nice to be here.
We've got Joe. We've had Joe on before. Brilliant to have you back, Joe.
Cheers, Sean. Thanks.
And obviously the one and only Hawaii Fivo.
The one and only. I like that, man. If you didn't say it, I would have said it. No, I'm glad to be back in Social Sessions so soon, Sean, with such great people surrounding me.
So I'm just going to kind of start off with just everybody's a wee kind of 5 minutes each of just their experiences of what kind of the different generation, because we'll start with you, Johnny. Obviously you were in Peterhead, stuff like that, and did a lot of time in the KGs and different things, and what was that like back then?
Well, I don't know like it would be any different now, but certainly back then in the old prison system as we knew it, growing up, there was no checks and balances. That system was geared to torment you, to break your spirit in the hopes of re-offending you. But it was that breaking the spirit that done most of the damage, and the spirit can only take so much punishment, and for some guys there is no return. So, you know, it was much easier for me to rebel against that system. Not that I thought I was a Jack o' Lantern or anything like that. And a lot of people used to think I was some sort of an escape artist because of my ability to go to cells and to cell windows and escape from certain places.
Houdini.
But it was just, there was nothing to do with being an expert. There was just
Desperation.
sheer desperation, and panic, you know, because, you know, you're really buried in a concrete tomb. You know, I mean, you've got a window that you can hardly see if you can get up to that is. But that system was never geared to be any help to the prisoner. It was just to take you down, degrade you, humiliate you. For the very day you went in, you're up with trousers, grey jacket, grey shoes, grey socks, your blankets were grey, your cell walls were grey, your skin pallor was grey. So you were degraded and humiliated for the very moment you're in that prison system. And it was just a shocking place to be, albeit we were there for what we get put in for, crime and punishment. But it was hard, very, very hard, and I was never built for that kind of carry on. And I did regret ending up there as long as I did, and did regret doing much damage as I did. But I had no other option. It was much easier for me to fight that system than it was to accept there was no help whatsoever.
Well, obviously going to kind of like wee bit of trauma and that, and obviously kind of childhood stuff as well, and how you were built and stuff, Johnny and Joe as well, and different kind of aspects of how that was probably an easier road for you guys to go down. But so what were you like, Joe? How did you? I know obviously you were an innocent man in a terrible case, but how did that affect you overall? As going in as such a and what the generation you were in, what was that kind of like?
So when I went in, a wee bit when I went in, it was although I'd been in a wee bit when I was going to longer again on a Johnny Boy. But even when I went out of prison, it was a culture shock. I went into a cell, a big horrible cell with fucking battleship grey on at the time, big dark pipes and a concrete bed and a cardboard table, a piss pot that you had to set your lid open. They were fucking stinky under the ears, stinky man. And the other things, it was in a mug. That was all you had in your cell a wee back then. And we had to put our clothes out every night. See, we usually went out of bed, your clothes got in. We put a chair out, every bit of clothes we had, every stitch we had to go in that chair, and they checked on all that. So
dehumanising again, and just like Johnny.
Plus
the light was on 24, more or less 24/7.
Plus we had a red light on all night.
Fucking done all the riser.
Never in the darkness, eh?
No. And then they're waking you up, checking your door every 15 minutes. Well, needed for it.
No.
You know what I mean?
So was that just a standard prison procedure?
That was category A prison.
Oh, category A, right, okay.
Yeah. But they've been wise, they would come up and annoy you, knowing they were fucking doing
I did it on purpose, you know what they're doing.
Man, they wonder why you're getting fucking angry and upset. No?
Aye.
So obviously we'll go into it, but obviously more detail later on, right? And obviously we'll take it into kind of how things work. But what about you? Obviously if you're a totally different generation, Jordan, what was it like for you? When we've spoken about it before the last time you're on, but what if you could kind of generalise your time in prison? What would you say? What would your kind of concept of prison be?
So mine's was, it almost reminded me of school a bit, and I think that was more the kind of behaviour of prisoners, because I went into the YOs at first and it was all just kind of young guys. When you go into the remand hall, which most remand halls are like, you've got people that are there maybe expecting a long stretch, people that think they might be getting out, and people that are in for daft stuff. So it's a big mixture. I went into Iona 1 in Pullman, and that's like the oldest hall in Pullman, but it's still relatively new. It might have opened, was it early 90s, early 2000s? Still.
It was. I was in 2000, so it was only about 2004, 2005, I think, Iona.
Right, that's when it opened. So see, it's still pretty recent in prison standards, man. But I remember getting in there the first time. I had a telly with a kettle, all these kind of things. Back when you first go into jail, you've not really got any experience of prison. You think, I've got the bare minimum here. But when you hear a Johnny and Joe, what they talk about they had, and you realise you had a lot. And then when I went to cons and that, you met older cons that had been in like 30 years before, and they'd be like, listen, this is like a social work camp or something in here, because you actually had nothing back in the day. I think when I was in Barlinnie, what I kind of noticed though, with the staff in there, I feel their approach to things, and I've only really been in Barlinnie as like a cons jail, but what I noticed was the attitude was still very the same what I'd imagine it'd be back in the 80s, 90s, that very kind of that pack mentality with the screws, because I can understand there's a kind of survival instinct, like we need to be the authoritarian in here, but I think as well there's a small pocket of like Barlinnie, like the staffing system, that I kind of try to look at different ways and means, like, right, how can we actually treat prisoners? How can we actually work to stop reoffending? And they're trying new methods. I've got the resource hub in Barlinnie now. But I think that's maybe a small percentage of the staff in there, because the rest just don't really know how to deal with it. They don't know, because a lot of them have been there like 30 odd years, so
don't want change.
Exactly. Some might don't want change, some might just don't know how to deal with it, how to incorporate it. And plus as well, you've got cons on both sides of that as well. You've got some cons that are, listen, I want to change, but I don't know how to change. And you've got some that are just still stuck in their ways.
Not got the opportunity either.
Exactly, man. Some are just going back out and they're thinking of their next turn, or where they can get a bit of graphy, or their next hit or whatever, man.
University. So I think if I was to kind of just generalise my experience, I would say kind of agree with you. I'd agree in that it's the dehumanising, the degrading kind of aspect to it. And I think what we're going to kind of try and move on to is how would we see it as a beneficial, because all of us are sitting here, we're on agreement that it's very degrading, it dehumanises you and takes you to a place probably that you really need to really disconnect with yourself to become part of that toxic environment.
That was just purpose, Jordan, Sean.
Aye,
that was the whole prison.
It's what we were talking about earlier, Johnny. You could definitely put the prison system in the Hilton, and it would still be the same, because you're still it's the environment we're in. Do you know what I mean? And it's like
so mindset me in as well, Sean. Isn't it? We know we can escape for a lot of things. We can break out of jail, break out of cells, do this and do that. But how do you escape from what is going on inside your head? It's already causing you. Like, gives you that much problems that your damage is going on in there is the reason you're there in the first place. So you know, try to clear the heat, try to escape from all that shit and all that years of you know, living the subculture life with our rules. It's trying to clear your head. And what opportunities would you get going into the prison? Say, listen, I fancy becoming a good guy now. Who do you turn to? This isn't going to happen. As Jordan said, you've got an old school, you've got a new school, you've got some bad school, some good schools like to do good, don't know how to approach it. And fear of ridicule for colleagues. You know what I mean? The same applies to us on this side of the fence. You know, if some poor guy goes, well, I'm going to go to chapel, and at the time I spoke to God, he'd be ridiculed. You know what I mean? But I think who do you approach and who is there to help you? Back in the day, there was certainly nobody, you know. So
that's what I was going to go into, John. I was just going to say.
Nobody there, but for the way what yourselves, Jordan's talking, there is changes there, so there is scope.
There is,
and all we need to do is how do we encourage that?
No, I think the whole purpose of this podcast was to kind of talk about the different generations, and I think you guys probably experienced the worst. Do you know what I mean? In the way that. There was really, it was us in them that like massive, and it still is. I'm not saying that that's still there, but it was a massive.
Conditions wise, it might be right, might be true what you're saying, but you know, what is the worst? The Hilton Hotel or Barlinnie prison to you, or somebody who's in
perceiving
a
it, perception.
It's your perception of the punishment.
Even that wee story you told me, Johnny. I don't know if you want to tell that wee story like that. That was an amazing thing to me. That kind of. Struck a chord with me when we spoke about the boy that was kind of upset, and you obviously you had the hard upbringing, you were brought up in a way. I'll let yourself tell, like obviously you can say how you and Joe.
Well, you know, I was a real rebel, you know, no by choice, but because that was the only way I could find to survive. And it was easy for me to rebel, and I loved to rebel because it gave me a spark of life. And so, and I eventually became the most punished prisoner in the penal history of Scotland. And one day I was in the tailor shop security party, and I seen this guy, Fatty Gordon, from Falkirk, and he was looking kind of down, you know. And I said, "You okay, Fatty?" And he went, "No, I'm a hell, Johnny." And I said, "What's wrong?" And he went, "My wife just got knocked back for the visit there." We were only talking about half an hour before I spoke to him. I said, "Why?" And I'm always looking for excuses to cause it anyway. And what he was saying to me was a right good excuse. And he says, they knocked her back, her and the baby. I think the baby was only about 18 months old or something. I said, why did they do that? And he says, because she left the visit pass at home. And I was like, fucking hell. And he turned and he says to me, do you know something, Johnny Boy? I wish the fuck I could do what you're doing. And I says to him, oh, I said, listen to me. And I looked at him a bit and made sure they was there. I said, listen, Fatty. I says, don't tell anybody what I'm going to say to you. I said, but I wish I could do what you're doing. So he says to me, do you mean that? And I went, fucking course I mean it. I said, do you think I enjoyed doing that? I enjoyed doing this, Fatty. This fucking sentence is destroying me. If I could do what you're doing, I wouldn't be in this trouble, but I haven't got it in me.
Which is an amazing way to look at it, because it's perception. You see some guys and you do see guys and you go, I wish they're dead rebellious and they fight the system, but they guys don't really want to be doing that. Do you know what I mean? They actually are. The whole thing is how you perceive it, and you it was easier for you, Johnny, to fight than it was for you to kind of like mould into the kind of the environment. Do you know what I mean? To me, I looked upon that as that guy had the more strength than I had. That's what I mean.
You're a strong guy. I said, I'd fucking buckle and crack up and wreck the place and end up another year's of mission or whatever got left.
But in prison, this is where I speak about the kind of everything's just spun round on its head. Like, so in prison, that's celebrated. Do you know what I mean? Outside, if you've done that, so in prison,
you get respected for the wrong reasons. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So a lot of guys go, well, fucking hell, there's a wee champion back on the roof. Like, on you go, and I feed that.
Exactly.
I don't mean that's in a derogative way.
No.
On you fucking go, Johnny Boy, give them that.
Of course.
And you're kind of wounded inside. You know what I mean? You're not there to cheer them on or cheer you on. You're there because you've no fucking nowhere else to go, and it's better to be up there than it was to be down there. I'd rather be fucking on the roof than sitting in a cell looking at 4 horrible walls. Nothing to do, but sit and die mentally.
What do you think? What it is as well, man? See the people that are celebrating it as well. They're seeing somebody doing like rebelling against this system that's the oppressor against me, but they're the ones suffering the consequences. I'm no. So I get to watch the system of screws run about, stressing out their nut, having a hard time, but I don't need to suffer the consequences of it. So it's if you're doing what I want to do, but you're taking the consequences, and I can view it. It's almost like a
really
Colosseum. Like a Colosseum, like you watch the gladiators in the Colosseum, like you cheer them on and all that, you boo or whatever, man. But at the end of the day, you're sitting in the stands. You're not affected in what happens on that field.
No, it's a great way to look at it, Jordan, definitely. And obviously, Joe, yourself, like you and Johnny have got kind of a bit of background, a bit of skating and stuff like that. So what was your kind of view on that, Joe? Would you rather have been like part of the system and kind of just mould into the background rather than being a catty kind of?
If I was doing it my life and I was guilty, I'd have just went through it and done my time. I know Johnny, when he gets 12 years, that was a long time away back then, and his squad queues get 5 and 6 years, he get double their size. It was a fucking liberty.
No, I'm going to actually talk about that in a wee minute.
But I'll be back then. If I had me guilt, I'd have get the head down and go to the door for my girlfriend, my baby, and my mother and whatever, no. But just the way that turned out, and me and Johnny, he broke down and promised this and that. So I always knew the way my case was going to go. My whole intention for day one was getting fucking out the door there for whatever reason. And I know he'd have been that to do it. So it kept me going, it kept my head digger. I'd gone to a cell block for 3 months and I used to go to the Secretary of State to get me added on. I never go there, it just fucking kept me. I was kept in. He'd done years and years. I'd done 14, 15, 20 months in different cell blocks and all that. But when I'm in there, he was doing my pulling walls, doing my protest and throwing my shite. That kept my head digger and it kept me going. Know what I mean?
Which is crazy to probably me and Jordan, who done our sentences differently. You know what I mean? Like that sounds. I would at times I would love to have done it when your back's up against the wall and you feel as if you're getting persecuted for no reason. There's certainly an aspect to you that would love to rebel the way Joe and Johnny did. I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, for me, because I'd done a lot shorter than yourselves. I done my long term sentence. It was 4.5 years, so it was 3 years I was serving at that. As much as it was long enough, but at the same time as well, the end was still in sight. It might have been a bit far away. Might have had to get my glasses on to see it, but it was still in sight. It wasn't like a life sentence or a 12-year where you're looking at maybe a decade later. And in my instance as well, I was very guilty of the crime I committed. So when I got my sentence, I was kind of like, right, knuckle down and accept this. But the thing as well, I was one of the people, I wasn't so much rebellious. I just had this thing against authority. I would go into halls and I would put up with it for a while. You get screws that are just the dogs, you know what I'm talking about? You put up with it for a while, then after a while you'd start arguing with them. That kind of thing, it would build up. And part of be like, I wish I was one of these people who would just wreck the place just to kind of show them they can't get away with it. But it was that, the fear of the consequences was there because I don't want to get more time added on. I want to go out. So that was, for me, I wouldn't ever go much to say I was like a thorn on the system's side or I was rebellious. That either was times, but I never climbed any roofs. I had a couple of fights and that, just daft stuff, know what I mean? But I pretty much, I was one of the people who just kind of knuckled down. I had the gym. That was a great outlet for me because I went to the gym before I went to the jail, but I wasn't like pure really into it. I remember I got my sentence and I thought, right, I'm going to be in here for 3 years. I want something to be shown for this, so I want to go out and be massive. So that was a great outlet. I managed to get a job in the PT passing that, and that's just always geared towards, it was just training, eating right and that kind of thing. So I feel for me that helped me massively.
So I think like just as we're going to move on, I'm going to kind of talk about it, but I think we're all agreeing as well here that it's a system that was kind of built to break you, and it's all about perception here. Like we can agree on that. But so it's all about how you perceive that system.
I didn't start off my sentence with the good intentions. I reckon the place. I remember being in a cell block in the High Court. My pal said, "What are you going to do, Johnny? 12 years, a long time ahead." And I went, "Don't know. Maybe I better get into education, which I never had in my lifetime." That was my first thought. But when I went in through the doors and I seen the jail for what it was and realised that I'd fucked up big time. You know, I fucked up big time outside the reason I was there in the first place. Then maybe a week or two into it, I realised I fucked up even bigger time me being in jail because I was innocent or in there, and it was easier for me to rebel against the system than I couldn't even go to education anyway because you had to be in certain length of time. If you're on security, no education, no night classes, no soft toy classes, no out in the football field. So you were deprived of a lot of things, you know what I mean? Plus, as Joe said, your clothing were put outside at night time. Hang on your clothes, shoes, nothing. So you were going to escape for yourself, which was ironic anyway, because I did escape for myself overnight. So it meant I had to break out the cell door and get my clothing that was outside the cell door. You know what I mean? So But I didn't start halfway, and I think everybody's mindset might be different. Jordan might go, oh, fuck, well, I'm going to here and get my PT done, that, and fair play to him.
All the guys were in done education.
I went in with the intentions of getting the heat done and gone with it, but it wasn't there for me.
Aye, that's the difference between, say, like the our eras in the prison, where I get sentenced to 4.5 years, I get moved up to Iona 3, which was the long-term haul, and being up there, you got more privileges, like you get a shower every day, you rec every second day, and the days you didn't have rec, you could get dubbed up with a guy next door for the duration of rec and stuff. So they gave us a lot more freedoms, whereas, as you say, when you get sentenced to a longer term, you couldn't get education, couldn't get football and that kind of thing, so naturally you're getting punished as you get back to jail, whereas like maybe when you get a long-term sentence, you maybe go to shots or something like that, go to NIC, where you've got a bit more freedom. And I wonder if that's maybe something they've realised they've brought in for people to get longer sentences, right? Kind of giving them a bit more freedom, because it's essentially going to be your home for the foreseeable.
Yeah, well, way back then, Jordan, right, funny you're saying, you had to have a prison, had to be about 18 months before you get a training on it.
That's right,
remember that? And see the recreation, like now it's every other night, whatever, but when we were in, maybe like 2 flats a hall we'd go to rec, and maybe 2 flats for another hall. It wasn't all the fucking halls and that getting into one place. And we'd maybe be waiting in rec for 3 nights before we ever went, and we get taken down separate. Usually we'd all get down the room, we'd all be on taken down different with the screws and all.
A radio was a great thing to have in the prison, because you were listening to the outside world there. But regardless of what sentence you were doing, you had to be doing longer than 18 months.
And you
had to be in 18 months before you got your radio. And what was all that about? It was witless persecution. Do you know what I mean?
100%, man.
Really witless persecution.
We've got what the whole thing is. The whole problem is we've got a punitive system that's been shown not to work. It's broke. There's so many people, and we've got 3 guys here. We've got 4 who's done. We've done over 50 years between us, right? And not one of us have got something to say here that. Listen, there's good stuff going on in the prisons now in Low Moss and Barlinnie, and I'm not saying, but what we've got here is 4 people who admit that they were in there, they were broken, and there was no help. That's kind of what. So you've been failed at that moment in time. So even I'll take you, Johnny, because I know you had the kind of special kind of. You had access to the special unit, right? Which sounded like a great kind of concept, and I've spoke to like David Heyman and other guys who used to come in. What do you think of that, Johnny? Do you think that was a good thing?
Well, you know, don't forget, I was in solitary confinement for about 5-6 years before I went to special unit. I actually went for the special unit. For the cages at Inverness Prison, straight to the special.
What was the cages like, Johnny? Just for people to know.
It was a cage within a cell. Plus you had a cell door. When the screws opened the cell door up, you then had to release you for your exercise or whatever through a cage like a zoo. You know what I mean? So. You know, and there wasn't a window. There was a window there, but it was frosted glass, and it was at the side, so you couldn't access it. You couldn't open up to get any fresh air out like that. I know. So when the psychiatrist came to see me for a special and a team, governors and whatever else, they were saying to me, they explained all the special to me, and it sounded to me as if they were talking about when I was going to be there, that would be like being under house arrest, because the special unit was way ahead of Barlinnie. And bear in mind, the Barlinnie special unit was nothing to do with Barlinnie. It was 2 different regimes, 2 different prisons.
Screws didn't know them when they talked to them.
The Barlinnie special unit was an experiment where they treated us humanely. You know, you get visits every day, you get visits in your cell every day.
And did you see a change in people, Johnny?
Well, let me explain to you what I'm going to say to you. So they says to me, the only problem you've got, Johnny Boy, he says, this is the psychiatrist and the governor and the PO and a couple of the screws for the special. That how the fuck do we take you for this environment what you've been living in for the last 8 years down to an environment like this? There's a concern. And the guys in the special, I say, you bring Johnny Boy down here, he's going to wreck this fucking place, he won't be able to cope. And they were bang on, but first stepping into the special unit, and you see all your pals who were all not so long ago, wee cocaine or them on dirty protests, all covered in shit and on the blanket and just living like modern day cavemen. And I'm looking and I'm like, fucking hell, man, that's that cocaine, like, how you doing? I'm fucking, do you recognise you're all tanned, own clothes on, you know, really looking healthy as if they'd just been back for holiday. Like, Johnny, fucking great to have you doing. He says, look, you'll need to try and we'll need to gather around you here, Johnny. This isn't a fucking easy option. It's going to be harder for you for where you came from. So, you know, to be welcomed into the special that they call a big meeting around, and the day around Robin, that who's all going to help out and who's going to do this and explain to you about the ethos of the special and it all seems like surreal. You know what I mean? Because I'm saying to myself, what fucking am I sitting here, my fucking family sitting to myself, am I actually in Castell's fucking thinking I'm somewhere safe, you know what I mean? And
it's polar opposites what you've came from, isn't it?
So for that moment in time, maybe the first week, I was gone. I was away for the old prison regime. I'd somehow escaped for that in my head, and then maybe 2-3 weeks later, it dawned on me, what the fuck am I even doing? I didn't want to be there. This was a big mistake of me. And the reason being, I thought it was a big mistake because I wanted back to where I left off it. I was fucking that used to the punishments. You know what I mean? I could release all the pent-up frustration and anger that was in there.
You could rebel.
And I couldn't do that in the special because there's guys, families in there, in the cell block area, maybe 6 cells in the bottom flat or 6 cells in the top flat, and somebody could be sitting up there with a family, fucking their wife, their Wayne, the grandkids. So it wasn't the ideal place to kick off, you know what I mean? So, yeah. The old team, yes or no, sir, 3 bags full, sir. I had to develop attitude, so I didn't want to escape. Because I knew I could have messed up for a lot of people who were wanting on with their sentences and getting on with their life. But that fucking frightened the life out of me, and I was like, what the fuck? So I ended up to get a psychiatrist. I cracked up and I ended up with a psychiatrist, and he went, he's like, what's wrong with you? And I said, I don't want to talk about it. He said, you mind talking about it away for the meeting, big special meeting they had about a concern for me? I said, yeah. He said, what's wrong with you? And I said, I'm just going to ask you a question here, doctor. I don't want any bullshit. Am I mentally ill? And he said, why do you think that? I said, well, why the fuck would I suddenly want to go back to something like that? And I got a shock when he said this to me. And it made me realise just how fucking damaged, not just I was, the whole fucking prison system. I says to him, why would I want to go back to that? You tell me what. In fact, they took me out for a day. They took me out to a cafe for a day in the Glasgow town centre with a wee screw. And he said, Mum, we're going to get a coffee, Johnny. And this is when it really kicked off. And he went, you okay? And I went, I don't fucking feel good at all. And he said, you went a funny colour. He says, do you want to go back to the jail? I said, maybe I'll get the fuck out of here. And I didn't want to tell him I was going to wreck the place. I felt like putting the fucking dining table right through the shop one day. It was just unbelievable, all these colours and I was just
too much into
people there, just all too much at the one time.
A shock to the senses.
So like, let's go, Johnny. So he was fucking, let's get back to the jail. She's called a special meeting. He went, Johnny, something happened to Johnny out there. And I told the psychiatrist about it, and I said, I want to know, am I fucking mentally ill? Because I was beginning to think I was, and it was hereditary, because me and Joe had a great uncle that brought him, not so much Castells. We had an uncle that was in Castells for 6 years for smashing a Wally jug cup out of Screw's face in Barlinnie way back when we were all kids there. I had an uncle who got a local mental hospital, you go and visit him, he was always drugged up. And so I thought, fucking hell, man, maybe this is fucking heredity, maybe I'm fucking mentally ill. So I said to the doctor, and I was terrified of fucking Castells. I was terrified of getting put in there. Because there was no return fee, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Aye.
And I said, tell me the truth, am I mentally ill? I'll be able to accept it if you just tell me the fucking truth. And he went, well, why makes you think that? I said, well, why the fuck would I want to smash that restaurant up? And why the hell would I want to go back to the cages? He says, you're institutionalised, Johnny. And I thought, well, what the fuck are you talking about institutionalised? I said, I thought somebody who was institutionalised was somebody who went through the sentence, sailed through the sentence. Yes or no, sir, free, sir. Yes or no, sir, 3 bags full, sir. Yes, I'll take parole, sir. And they get out and they come back in again. To me, that was, he said, no, institutionalised, Johnny. He says, you have been living the way you've been living. He says, and see you them out of that, this gave me a fucking even bigger fright. He says, see you them out of that shop, that cafe, and did not feel the way you felt, I'd have been very suspicious. I went, really? And I went, so that's why all the fucking, this is why all these guys are all going out the fucking jail, fucked up in the head. They're no sooner out and they're right back in again. And the judge will say, and I've seen that many occasions, what, you've just finished 15 years for assault and this and assault and that, and you're right back in, and well, let this be a lesson to the rest of you. 20 years. And the guys are going out, out of the prison.
That's
With
busted.
he's not intact. You know, fucking
no.
really broken.
Do you think you like always like I'll take it because obviously that's a totally different thing for what Johnny Boy's saying, right? But do you think you ever lost touch with reality? Obviously, that's massive difference in what's happened with Johnny. I think you've just become comfortable in your trauma, if that makes sense.
Probably, yeah.
But can you relate to that in any way, John?
So, in a kind of similar way, right? It wasn't as much an extreme as that. So my last sentence, I got 14 months for a knife, and I only served 4 months and I got out in the tag. But see, with most sentences, you prepare for getting out. You're like, right, 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, 4 weeks. You count down. You kind of brace yourself for it, and that's the thing with the time I'd done in jail before. It's the shortest sentence I've got, but because I'd moved on, the crime happened in 2018, and I went to prison 2021. So in my head, I'm not got to jail for it, all that kind of shit. So I got a bit of shock. Plus, I'd kind of put all that jail shit behind me. I was doing the podcast. I was doing quite well, so I was kind of like, fuck. So when I found out I got the tag, I was hoping I would get it, but that way you just tell yourself, I'm not getting it. You put yourself in the jail. I'm in the jail. I'm not getting out till I get out. You're hidden bodies in the jail. You're no one in the other. You just need to accept this is my world now until I get out. So I get told I was out like the next week in the tag, so it was like it felt as if both I was out the door. I remember my pal picked me up and he was driving for Barlinnie, so he just on the M8, and that way I was just looking about, man, and I was like, I feel like I'm dreaming here, man. It was weird that before you get that gate fever, you're buzzing. With this, it was just it felt surreal. And I went,
that is again the same as kind of what Johnny's feeling, but when he's out in the cafe.
It felt as if it was like a high. My emotions were just all over the place because that way I felt as if I was still a part of me was still back in the jail. I hadn't had time to take that out of me. It was a strange feeling, and it took me about a week or two to kind of accustom. But I was meant to be going to college, and they were wanting to get us back out like the week, and I ended up messaging the guy like me. I need like a week or two to kind of sort myself out. I stayed off like social media. I had all these plans, and I was like, I just couldn't even talk to anybody. I was just in my house, and I just had to kind of reset almost.
Yeah. So that psychiatrist says to me, "Could I ask you a question?" And Johnny says, "Why did you not kick off?" And I thought, you know what? I've got fucking too much responsibility here now. I've got the responsibility of my own well-being, my family, my mother, my friends, the prisoners that's round about me. I have a hell of a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. And he went, that's one step to getting better, Johnny. He says, you've controlled it.
Aye.
That was because of the different environment, especially when I've been under house arrest.
Aye.
You know, it was really the only place, it was like the only port in the storm in the prison system, Jordan. That was the only thing, the only place, the only opportunity that I could ever get to get my act together. And, you know, and I would have visits for family members. Who's this man? She'd that's your cousin, that's so-and-so. I went, fuck it. Well, we all grew up in remand home in Prue School. We were all split through the years. Me, Jim, Joe, my dad.
Aye.
You know, and to be honest with you, the only time I ever really got to have a rapport with old Joe was when we were fucking breaking him out of jail. And it's sad to say that,
Very
you know
sad.
what I mean? You know, fucking, but the special unit done a lot for me, and the special unit and the likes is the way I head.
Yes.
It's the way I head, just like some of these prisons in Sweden. They treat you more humanely. The first term name of the schools, if you've got a problem, the schools would even go to your family and bring your mother down, your sister, your wife down. If you weren't feeling too well, they would encourage a relationship to continue, because your wife or your girlfriend had a lot of control over you, as well as just having a school saying, "Oh, sit down and how you doing? We'll try and help you." Where your wife and your girlfriend and your kids will be all around about you, and it was a more humane.
It's exactly what you say about ethos. It's the ethos.
Yeah.
And so what about yourself, Joe? If I take you, obviously you're again totally different. It's a big, massive, high-profile case and stuff. But did you feel institutionalised? And what was it like when you even tried to kind of start coming out? Even what was it like when you were on the run for the escape? Did you feel surreal? Was it like a...
I've been very lucky a couple of times when I was buzzing things like that, but a lot of times I've done a house, I'd just be, with one thing or other, I just wanted to highlight my case. It wasn't fair. I left them doing my bra and fucking put them in the spot and all that, putting his film line, but I'd have done it for him and he knows that. And I always wanted to do it, always never fucking, I knew one day somebody would listen. I always say somebody would listen, that, you know what I mean? But all the years in the jail, they didn't blame anything. I was up in Peterhead myself. for fucking 14 months. Shut the cell block down in Perth and put up period. And although I'd been up there 2 or 3 times before, the 10-man unit, so it's a jail within a jail period as you were in, Johnny. And my head was fucking, the screws were playing wee daft games in my head. And I know so much the screws, the governor cunt was tamping my mail and all that, and messed my head up. And then the done blame thing happened. All the kids and they never ever gave my paper, but see, that was like me, I had papers every day. I was 40 kids, my fucking, my head was playing with it. Then my pal got murdered in the campaign, and the boy for my bra, question me, whatever, you know what I mean? And my fucking head was whopped up there, we were playing games and all the rest of it with me. And then, right out of the blue, the governor came in and said to me I was going back to the appeal court, going to go to the press and going to hang me and all that. Fucking after treating us the way they were treating us, and then they didn't want to be exposed them for all the hanging. They were doing this, no. But I no doubt in my mind I was in such a situation. I didn't think I was when I came out and all that. I thought it was great and I kept saying I'm as if I hadn't been away. All the guys come out and like they're paranoid and this and that because people are stealing. But I knew in my head I think I was saying myself, but it was because I'm high profile, whatever, and I didn't really do that para.
Yeah.
No, right,
time was of the essence. We had our joint on. Because we knew that it was, you know, it's only a fucking matter of time before they capture you. They could capture you in a house in Cathamlock, and it would ruin it. So when we were in the jail, me and Joe, we planned everything. Although some things changed, they planned. We planned exactly what we were going to do. And so when it came time for Joe to go into the Palace Gates, and I fucking felt gutted for him. I know he wanted to go back to the scheme and see his wee pals and all that. If he did the anyway, and I said, John, fucking terrifying in case you get caught in there. We've got the master plan here, and it works out. You're going to well a lock on your side there.
It did work, but it's like,
it did work, but it was sad because he had to hunt himself fucking in, you know, which was probably the hardest thing. It was the hardest thing for him. And I'd encouraged it. I was like a fucking social worker, you know.
I was like bubble and I didn't want to hunt myself in. I knew I did, but I didn't.
I didn't want to hunt you in either, but
my wife was coming down, my boy, they were doing a London based every my man and all that. And it was fucking great. I know my family, man.
The only way you could fight that system, Joe, the only way we could do that, the only way we could take the bastards on and beat them was exactly what you done.
Well, that's my advice. Everybody that's in prison is innocent.
Embarrass them, because they can't handle it. You can fucking go up and shoot one of them. You can shoot the judge, you can shoot the PF, you can shoot the coppers. Somebody will take their place, but they can't really hide for it.
You need to highlight the struggle. Do you mind if I ask Joe, see, these times when you escaped, obviously there was that thing in the back of your head, I'm going to return to prison because I'll either get caught or I'm going to hand myself back in. So there was always a thought you were never truly too far away from the jail. See, because at one point you did get released, was it interim lib, but pending the appeal, and I imagine you'd put problem like that, right, this is me home free. What was the feeling, the difference in feeling when you get released in interim lib then get sent back to jail?
Well, when I go to, I wasn't expecting interim lib for starters. John Carroll said to me, and he came up to season shots, I did shots, Ben, he said, I'm going to apply for bail, and I went, fucking bail. I knew it wasn't kidding me, but I didn't think in a million years I would ever get it. Even the day I went up and I go, bail, fucking, I couldn't stop winning. I couldn't believe it. And but the difference when I knew it is, and John was aware of it, I was always feared to go to court. I didn't want to go to court, I wanted it postponed and all the time. John, because I was terrified that we get back and I would lose it.
Because there was always that chance.
And people saying, oh, you're done, you're out and this and that. But I never, because of it, all the shit being rude the way these cunts work, all the things I'm through. And I was always feared to go to court. And then the day I went to court and that happened, I was worse than getting a sentence.
I said to Joseph, I spoke to Joe, I was in a Gilshire, staying in that, and spoke to John. I said, court tomorrow, John. I said, you're fucking kidding me on. I said, when this happened, John Carroll phoned me today, we're at court tomorrow. What does John Carroll think? And Joe says, he doesn't know.
John Carroll's a clever man.
He was a great lawyer.
He didn't say me, you'll get bail and all that, just you'll apply.
I says to Joe, I don't like it, Joe. I said, I don't think you should go fucking back, did I? I said, I think you go back.
Everybody was moaning at him. He was fucking hanging me, saying that to the way, and I was still away. Fucking said, my man, I mean.
Me poor mother, I said, look, mother. I said, where be Joe? I said, I know, suddenly all these Philadelphia lawyers are coming to fucking woodwork here. I said, but you need to get that wee coat armour back on here, mother. I said, might no fucking get out. I said, I'm concerned John Carroll doesn't know, and if John Carroll doesn't know, why does he not know? So, because if John Carroll get told that Joe was going back to jail, he would tell Joe, and then Joe would go, we're off. I would like, Joe, please fucking get away. He's like, oh, fuck it, I would just go back face it. Johnny said, I think we'll get out. And I went, and I wasn't hopeful, do you know what I mean? But, you know,
I think what you see, obviously, what you get, it's a totally different thing with the way, I think you're up, the way you were brought up and stuff, and just kind of hardened up at a young age, and then the way you were kind of, the sentences are really, they're really kind of unique, both of these, with different sentences, do you know what I mean? Me and Jordan are kind of a wee bit different. We were a bit, as much as mine was kind of high profile case at the time and stuff, it wasn't really like the way, like you guys kind of done it, do you know what I mean? You guys were kind of a bit unique, so I'm going to take it to kind of how the difference in healthcare and stuff, right? And the difference in what kind of stuff, because I know that you guys probably get absolutely nothing. What was the healthcare like? What was the aspect of mental health, Johnny, when you were in? What was mental health? Was that even a thing?
well, I never really seen it as mental health. I just seen it as
Why did the good guys done it?
Sorry?
So what? The boys we were in a Wadham, it ended up great guys going to Castells right with a blue.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I didn't really think in the terms of mental health. I just thought in terms of life had never changed for me. I'd been that way since we were fucking practically kids, you know what I mean?
I know.
Especially me and Joe growing up and couldn't live up to the old man's expectations. But you only time I thought about the mental health was when you seen your pals on Legacto. And it was the fucking, you know, walking around circles,
Shuffling.
big slippers on, you know. And I never really thought much about mental health until I started to analyse things myself, you know what I mean, and I can see a lot clearer. But yeah, that was fucking.
I think you're lucky. You're articulate, Johnny, right? And you've managed to raise your awareness to a level where you can open yourself up to mental health and you can analyse and look back and see. A lot of guys can't. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of guys, it's the question I think I'm trying to get to is, was there any help for you guys, or were you just left?
Oh, you were left to your own devices.
There's never any help.
And the only help you would get if a mental illness came to the surface and the prison system could see it would be if fucking put you into Castells. And that was always a big fear in a lot of our lives, wasn't it, Joe? Because to get into Castells...
It's a terrible fear to have over you, isn't it?
Yeah, well, funny enough, I was in the jail with a guy, big pally mine, big Sinky for the suicide, Joe. He committed suicide in the cell block period, next cell to me, actually.
10 of my pals committed suicide.
And he gets sent to Castells, and he gets sent to Castells for stabbing a guy in Pierhead prison. Then he was in Castells. No, sorry, in Pierhead prison, they say to you, look, you better get your act together here, you're going to end up Castells. So they threaten you with Castells, right, if you're rebelling against the system. Then Sinky went in there, he's next cell with me, I'm talking to the window, so what's happening, Sinky? He said, I threatened to stab a cunt in Castells and they sent me back to Pierhead. I said, so what is happening to me now? He said, I'm just waiting on this Alfie Smith and talking about the governor let me back into circulation. And Sinky the big red beard and red hair, he looked kind of caveman style, you know, big boy, you know, good cracking big guy as well. And I said, so what's happening, Sinky? You getting back up? He said, he's told me I'm staying here till he can get me back to Castells again. So he committed suicide. He hung himself, a big fella. I actually fucking seen him. I seen the body bag getting took out the cell and get dragged along by my window. But, you know, mental health, how can you identify it? How can you... You know, if you're mentally ill, how do you know you're mentally ill? If you're not mentally ill, or how do you know you're not mentally ill? Who's going to analyse you and decide? You know what I mean? And I get told that the only reason I never get sent to Castells, which I was quite grateful for, I get told this was in a special unit when Alfie Smith and the Governor Chief David Murison came down to visit me in a special unit, and we were talking about my carry on and all the stuff. But he says, for God's sake, Johnny, you've certainly changed, man. You're not the same fella. I says, yeah. Fucking hell, no surprise there. Certainly changed fucking out your environment. He said, do you ever think you were going to end up Castells? And I went, I was always a fear. I told you that.
Terrified of me.
He says to me, well, you got assessed for Castells once you were in the cell block way back in the early 80s. And he says that the people for Castells that came up to the governor's ordering, they asked to see your file. And he said they were looking through your file and we can't take him. He says, this guy's capable of escaping for fucking God knows what. He said, we've already had 2 escapes for two
That
guys
was the
escaped.
only reason was because of your
Aye,
ability to
honestly,
escape.
my ability to go to cell,
sake,
cell
man.
doors. And I was quite grateful for that.
I know it's see, to be honest, this is what I was kind of hoping here, because it's something that I can't identify with like that, because that was mental health was something that was kind of looked at, and maybe it's actually opening my eyes to how much the system has get better a wee bit then, because as much as it's terrible and there's still not enough help, that's outrageous.
No,
Like
no,
that.
that's crazy. It's like almost as if it's like the last line of defence. They're waiting, like, if you're not conforming to the rules, we'll send you away to Castells.
that was the case
every
back
prisoner's
in the day.
fear, really.
Aye, that's one of the things. Once you've got that kind of mark against your name, that's you for life, pretty much.
See, nearly every guy that I know that's done a serious assault on one of the prison warders, it's all got to Castells.
Really, aye?
Then they put you there because you're mad. They put you there because you're violent. You're fucking furious.
That was to intimidate other people to say, which is where you want to go.
Aye.
And
That's wild.
And he days it jagged you. See, he was argued by a screw. Her uncle was in it.
Was it like Acto and all that?
It wasn't like that. It was that line. They jagged in arse anyway. You're fucking. 4 days about it.
Was it
Some lads are peas on it. 4 days about it.
bodies.
And when he
In fact, I was-
come and check my breathing, that was it. Jordan, the minute got.
Aye, wipe
Your
your
dad had
out.
been left there. We weren't waiting for your dinner.
I was in the
He said stories
cages.
came back because I was terrified to go wrong.
I was in the cage with you, Jimmy Burns. And he went off funny on me. He said, oh, fuck you, Rafi, I'm smoking all this carrot. Fucking ass, you involved in any carrot. Oh, you're fucking nuts. He said, I'm getting moved to
The
Perth.
condom game eyes were missing.
They gave him a formaldehyde fucking injection. And he took it to the fucking Court of European Court of Human Rights. And they said, well, we'll give you a wee deal, we'll put you to Perth and give you... And he fucking...
Game eyes were missing back, Johnny. Everybody's were missing. They lost that
He
game.
threw the case in when he was getting jagged with a formaldehyde.
Such a dangerous game, isn't it? Like when you're
He
playing
had
a
with
bit.
boys, he was suing them, he had a maid forcing, and they made a deal with him. That's what he done. He gave boys a missing back, John and Perth, he did back Perth
That's
in,
right, right.
and he lost every fucking bit again. No, I mean,
Yeah.
Because in this day and age, right, in this day and age, I don't know if you know the Jordan, but there's a thing called MAT standards, which is like medically assisted treatment.
Okay.
And I've argued before that it's not within the prison system now. They say it's getting rolled out in the prison system, and it's like you've got your rights, you've got human rights, all this kind of stuff that I don't. I mean, looking at this, right, looking at this and looking at that era, there definitely has been a positive change, I would say, even to when I was in, because that to me is outrageous, right? But
Could I just raise a wee
Aye.
subject while we're on this, in case I forget it. We're talking about mental illness, right? So Joe is lying in the untried for the trial for the Doyle family, God rest him. I don't know that my Uncle Arthur, the guy who we were talking about, who'd been in the mental hospital, was in the untried. Then my dad had just died, and all my parents, all granny had just
Uncle
died.
Ma.
So, Joe's in the untried. I'm coming for Peterhead down to Barlinnie to comfort Joe when the sentence is going to arise. Plus, I was on the protest at the time, so it gave him an opportunity to get me off it in a way. So, I'm going for a visit this night. And before I hear all the smashing, I went, it sounds like a riot during the lock-up period, 6 o'clock, fucking 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And so we were like, right, visit Steele. So I had not like a visit. And I'm walking along towards the visiting room. I think it was D Hall. And I could see all this black fucking smoke all over the place. And I was like, fucking, we heard somebody died. I'm like, fucking hell, poor cunt, man. And here all the cons were smashed all there one day.
Yeah, them
We're
screaming,
talking about
smashed all the
we're talking about
doors,
these mattresses that's in the prison that give off cyanide
That's
fumes.
right,
If there's
aye.
a fire, So I come back for the visit. My wee ma was up and Joe's lying untried. It's a separate visit. I'm convicted and Joe's
Aye.
fucking on the untried. So after the visit, I goes back to the hall and I'm at the sink and wash myself. And wee Alec Fulton for the suicide comes up and he says to me, "Fuck's sake, Johnny, I'm fucking sorry to hear that bad news, mate." And I went, "What's that, Alec?" He said, "You know?" And I went, "Fucking know what?" He said, "You don't know who died in that fire?" And I went, "No, fucking tell me." He went, "Your Uncle Arthur." I said, "My Uncle Arthur's never been in jail in his fucking life. My Uncle Arthur's a fucking mental patient." What had happened is Arthur had fucking, he'd wandered away for the hospital.
aye.
Oh, and so he goes back down to 999 Gatlock Road where he knew we stayed at that particular time.
We'd moved, innit?
So he was banging the door and fucking shouting bawling, "Oh, let me in, it's me." So one of the neighbours heard him. There was already a new person moved into this, a new family moved into this house. So one of the neighbours heard all the commotion, phoned the police, so the fucking police took him. Bear in mind, he's been in a mental hospital for fucking 30 odd years. Straight to court and straight into Barlinnie. And Arthur, who, if you're a mentally ill patient, if you've got any injuries whatsoever, any, you know, for some reason, you cannot be on any landing above the ground floor.
That's right.
So especially a patient, mentally ill guy, who people who are on all sorts of
He should have been on
medication.
the boat, man.
He should have been on the bottom flat. But it just so turns out that they put our Arthur on the top flat. And of course with his mental illness and stress and all the rest of it, he couldn't cope. And he's whatever's happened, Bern Joe's lying and on try for a Doyle.
He turned his bell off and that because he kept ringing the bell and that.
That's what happened. He was pressing his bell and kicking his door and the screws when they come near him. So all the other cons, when they smelt the smoke coming through, it was travelling through the vents and through under the doors and into other people's cells. They started smashing all their windies. And fucking, so by the time they got over after it, he's gone.
Fuck's sake.
So
Sad.
the next day, this one, this is how cruel the prison system can be and the authorities within. So the next day, and I'm concerned about old Joe because he's lying untried and we've lost an uncle. Mrs. Doyle, or the Doyle family's lost a full family to a fire and death and smoke inhalation, and old Joe's lying untried, and we've lost an uncle who went the exact same way. So the governor went through the workshed this day, and I went, I didn't see you. And it was Jim will fix it with Andy Gallagher. And he said, I'll see you here. I said, so what's going on here? He said, what do you mean? I says, you know that was my uncle that died, my mother's brother that died in that fucking fire, don't you? Oh, we didn't know it was you. Didn't know it was your uncle. I says, listen, when Ma Padden died and our Joe was untried, you had to go and tell Joe your granny Padden had died, and etc, etc. But you would come along to me as Joseph Community, need you to talk to your Uncle Arthur, who's also in the untried. And they needed Joe to go along with the governor and the screws to convince who Arthur, Uncle Arthur he is. Mother, your mother's dead. No, my poor mother, no, my mother never. So, and I said, you fucking try to deny you didn't know he was related, but you fucking took your Joe like the fucking Arthur cell.
I know the other pads of our uncles, I knew he was
so,
evil.
You know, talking about fucking suicide awareness, this is my nephew who hung himself in a prison in Liverpool a good few years back. And I don't know if his family reckon he might have been on the spice or whatever. You know, and it's just sad that people need to turn to that kind of fucking kind of chemicals to get through the sentence to survive. You know what I mean? I know it's hard enough to survive in sobriety and be compos mentis, you know what I mean? But, you know, talking about mental illness, there's a case here Arthur. Lying and untried.
It's absolutely. I mean, your families have suffered a lot, man.
My mother
have suffered an awful lot.
My mother finished the visit. Sorry for bunting again, John. My mother finished that visit in home with my auntie, and we went to Easterhouse. We went to Gathamlock, dropped off my mother at Gathamlock. Auntie went to Easterhouse. She was in watching the teletext. She went, fucking hell, man. And it came up on the teletext that hour after I had died, and yet they fucking scumbags, they dirty low bastards, never had the decency to inform Joe and myself or my mother, who they knew we were all related, that hour after I had died. That fact, try to put them in, make matters worse, try to put them into a fucking unmarked grave, didn't they, Joe?
Wow.
Fucking hell, man.
You know,
And that's somebody who
that
obviously.
leaves you bitter, mate, you know.
I know there's a massive shift, right? And obviously, I hope it does. Like, I'm not saying, like, listening to you guys has actually changed my opinion a wee bit on how mental health is running within the prison, because I don't think that would happen now. I would like to think it wouldn't happen. Do you know what I mean? I know there's terrible things happen, but I know you spoke on the last time, Jordan, about one of the worst things you experienced was that guy who we're talking about suicide, and suicide's really gone up quite high in the prison now, and it is because of spice and stuff, Johnny. But you spoke about a guy, I don't know if you want to kind of tell that wee story again, Jordan, just how that kind of affected you. That was...
So it was a boy, he was, I might have been about 20 at the time, I said I'd been about 2012. he was maybe, it was just starting 5 year, and you could tell him he stood out like a sore thumb, just looked dead young. I think it was like part of, like, there was 3 of them co-accused. I think it was one of the serious assaults. I don't know if he's punched somebody or he's been there, but he's not really done the most damage. And you could just see it, man. He had that look of innocence about him, man. He just stood it.
Lost look.
And I remember there was his co-accused was a boy. He's always in and out, this guy, and we were all dining out. And this guy's ended up fighting with another boy and fucking rolling about the flare. And this boy is kind of jumped there, and most people think he's got to jump there and start like battering the other boy. And he's kind of trying to split it up, like split the two of them apart. And everybody just started laughing at them, like finding it funny, as if look at the state of him, like trying to split this up. But obviously, you could tell the guy didn't have any violence in him. Next day, man, if the boy get funny, tongue his cell during the night, and it was just like through the wall for me in the next cell, and that kind of really affected me, man. It was at the time, I think, because I was so close, like where the beds were. See, it was like the wall split separating us. It was that, but it was weird just seeing the guy the day before, and then the next day you're seeing that. It's like, I remember the chaplain getting into his room, obviously get his items and that. He'd only just started his sentence, so the cell was pretty bare, but I remember him, I think it was like a wee card he took off the wall and a couple of wee things. I'm thinking that, man, it's like just some people just can't see the end of their sentence. And you thinking about his family and that, it's just, that's where the first I kind of thought about somebody's family out with the jail, when I seen him taking these wee items. Obviously the chaplain was taking them to go and get to the family, and it's like having like a child or something that's gone, or a brother or whatever, going into do a sentence, start a sentence, and that's hard enough to take. Then the fact they never come back.
You think of suicide, like, you think the effect that you think the shrapnel coming after that suicide and affecting the guy's family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they want to feel all that
Ripple
pain.
effect.
You know,
Right.
the ripple effect.
100%. It's the strange thing as well, seeing I tell that story. So I just recently left my job. I worked in a student accommodation. The wee guy was for air, and I ended up, one of the lassies I've been working with for the past year, she's for that kind of neck of the woods. And then I can't remember, we were talking about jail and that, and I think she says she knew a guy that killed himself in the jail, and then she says, I think he was doing like 5 years. She said his name, and I was like, it tippled. It was the same guy. She went to his funeral and that, and I was like, it's a fucking small world. And I told her the story and that kind of thing, and she was, you could see like how they were affected and that kind of way. She was like, he was never that type of person to like go to prison. He obviously just caught up in the wrong thing, and unfortunately never. I was actually just thinking about that earlier in this conversation.
Why?
You know?
Why?
He's done when he did 10 people hung themselves when I was in there. And I didn't have to open the door and do anything to check and all that. And it was wee Angie, a wee lassie screw, man. I heard the screams there every so often. She was fucking open my door, and you knew somebody hung herself with a scream up, or she ended up leaving the job, and she made that guy military police and joined the army. A lovely lassie, man. It's not a wee thing. And that lassie fucking,
I used to think that, I know, Joe, I used to think with my pals, some of my pals done themselves, didn't I? And I'd be like, fucking idiot, man, what did they do that for? And you just, you can't comprehend what's going on in somebody's head. Until one day I was sitting in my cell, and I had this book, an A-hole, in the beginning. I must have done about fucking, I looked at 22, 32 pages, and couldn't remember one thing I'd read, right? Fucking next thing, a big bolt of lightning came right out, and it was as if I came out myself and looked down, and I was in this fucking concrete matchbox, no escape, no out, and it was high-pitched noise in my ears, and I thought, I'm fucking going to collapse, man. It was the fucking biggest fright I got in my life, and I was fucking that face suicide, I'm not going to hang myself. And I was panicking, no, fucking need to go here. And I knew that I wouldn't have time to rip the sheets up, and I had this fucking mad thought, I had enough strength to run and crack my head off the fucking the granite walls there. And I panicked, my fucking poor mother, and I realised the damage was going to do it. And I went, I need to go here, and I went, fuck it, just go press that fucking bell and ask to get a jag. For the first fucking time in my life, I wanted that fucking jag, whatever it done to you. And it screwed, it seemed as if it took an eternity, and I was some fucking state.
So sad, but.
And so, when that screw opened that door, I heard these footsteps coming closer and closer, and heard the key coming. I fucking managed to bring myself back down again. And he's like to me, you okay? And I went, I'm fucking busting for the toilet. He went, you sure you're okay? And I went, aye. And that feeling left me, but that was as close I ever came to fuck. So, now I realise that people don't just sit there and go, you know what, fuck, I'm going to end it. And goodbye, cruel world, and send me letters. Sometimes it just fucking happens for no reason. Boom, right out of the blue, and it's hard to fight it, Joe.
Some of these guys, Johnny, you know,
I think,
never dream of done it. No, I mean, you say, fucking last thing.
Last people you expect if
You would rather believe that the fucking screws hung the guy and made it look like suicide.
That would seem
that
plausible.
was my experience on it. Fucking comes from nowhere, mate. And if you can't fight it, you're gone. You know what I mean?
It's the massive. I think what we can all see here is the same thing that's going through this whole podcast, is that the massive disconnect that you need to do to go into this prison environment. And this is a problem. You're putting people into an environment where strong people like yourself, Johnny, and these guys that you're talking about are probably prisoners that back in the day would have been the big top men and the guy this is
boots, man. But
and these guys, I mean, I know a guy from Edinburgh who was like, to me, he was like a prisoner, never took any shit. He was a boxer. He was what a guy this guy was. Like he was, and he used to just go through settings, and I used to think this guy's got it all sorted. He fucking killed himself when he got it, and you're like,
we know a few guys that done
just don't, and you just don't know where it comes from.
A couple of serious contenders, you're right out of jail. Fucking why not hang yourself in the prison?
I know.
You know, you can't.
And I think it is just that whole. I'm going to go into that. I'm going to go into how hard it is to reintegrate. Right. I'm going to go into how hard it is to actually, because for myself, right, when I came out 15 years, I think we were talking about it earlier, I'd done 15 years. You do it back to back. You do it with the way everybody's all done their sentences differently, all right? But you guys have done it kind of like hardcore, if you know what I mean, if that's the right word for it. But if when you go through the sentence, as Johnny said before, it doesn't matter what sentence you're doing, it's your own sentence. And when you get through to the end of that, when I tried to come out, I remember just feeling that the normal people that were in my life, my brother, my sister and all that, who were straight pegs and stuff, I didn't know how to connect with them very well. I struggled to, and I was always kind of going back to that criminal, like you are, people that knew the jail and all the
subculture.
Aye, knew the people in the jail. Oh, so and so, you hear about so and so done this and that. See that kind of that jail politics and all that. When you take it out, you're in the jail, you're like, you hear about so and so, or you're talking to people you all know, and you go out and you're like, you don't know any people I've spent the last few years with. It's just, it's as you say, it's hard to kind of connect with them on that level. It's kind of what I find as well, a big thing. When you go into jail, as I say, the first couple of weeks usually the hardest, and you develop a routine, and that's what gets you through the jail. Your sentence, jail's a running routine. When you get let out, you need to develop your own routine. So, see for somebody that's been in for a few years, it's had everything done for them, washings, canteen, all that stuff, dinner made for you. You get out and you need to do all this kind of stuff yourself. It's a lot to take.
They're no streetwise.
What they do is they take all your responsibility off you, right? They take all your responsibility off you. They put you in a place where, I've said it before, violence is celebrated, anti-authority behaviour is celebrated, all these drug addictions celebrated, taking drugs is celebrated, all the kind of stuff that's total polar opposite for outside. And I don't think the people that have never been in prison can understand the dynamic and the change. So what they do is they take all that off you and then pat me back on the street with absolutely no help and go, right, now be responsible for yourself. Don't be violent. Don't take drugs. Don't take it. And you're like, so this is just, you've just spun me 360 degrees.
You never get any help.
Aye.
Never. That's what's wrong. We need to help people come out of jail.
So I'll ask you, I'm going to ask you all a question, because I know that I've got post-traumatic stress for the jail. I know that I've definitely got trauma in my life. Would you say you've got trauma for the prison
I was
system?
told that by a psychiatrist there.
Aye.
Yeah, you know, the sad thing is, what's normal becomes abnormal to us, you know what I mean?
Desensitised, Johnny. I totally see it before.
John, now I still pay something down my house, in the house, as if I'm buying the right. Didn't on the road, all up and talking about my way.
Never away for the one day.
I fucking pay something down as if I'm still b-hole. I go to the front, that's the way I'm at. I'll fucking sit at the window like I do. In the morning, it's bored, I'll go to the other window.
Do you know what I noticed, Joe? Remember this? First person I ever spend spend as much time at a window as I did was my dad when he got out of jail. He was always looking at the window.
That's right, aye.
He did the exact same thing.
So this goes way back.
I did the exact same fucking thing. I remember, this is God's honest truth, I remember I was arguing with my wee partner, with Irene, And she went, you know what, you're fucking never away for that one day. Why don't you fucking go out and just get your fucking daft pals? But I wasn't standing there for that reason. Because we always looked at the cell windows and talked to each other. We always said that. So I went, you know what, that's just exactly what we do, Irene. She went, get your bag and get to hell out of here. So I goes out to my mother's. Joe's out in bail at this time. And Jim's out. My ma went, I chapped the door, ma went, for fuck's sake, no, you. Where are you going to speak? Where are you going to speak? I've got fucking him and Jim in there. Oh my God.
So what about you, Joe? Would you say, because this is the thing that I try and push, and I kind of want people to know, like, I hate celebrating crime, and I hate all that kind of, like, because it's so damaging, right? And we've got 4 different generations here who are all feeling the same way, the same symptoms, the same stuff, and the thing is, the only one common thing between us is prison, because our sentences are all totally different. So the one common theme between this is prison, and every single one of us is feeling the exact same effects of it. So I'll go obviously yourself, Joe. Would you say that you've got PTSD as well? Then would you say that you've got the symptoms of that? Like,
I've had all that. Fuck, I've got to be so much on my eyes, honestly.
Well, Joe, you were dragged. I would say aye. You were dragged off the street, Joe, and fucking bagged up for a crime you never committed. I went to the jail for something I did day, and fucking look at the effect that had on me. And I can't even think how I would have went through that, said, well, what I would have done if I were in your shoes. I think if anybody's fucking traumatised anywhere on this fucking planet in any of these prisons, it's got to be you. You might not recognise that.
I didn't recognise John. I thought it was great. I thought it was fucking fine, honestly, John.
You don't recognise it.
But when I'm in a house, I'm thinking of fucking, mine's just 24/7 and all the crap I've been through in my life.
I think, see when I went into Joe, obviously, we both of us have suffered miscarriage of justices, right? And Joe's totally different from mine. They're 2 totally different kinds of cases, and I wouldn't even try and...
It doesn't matter, John. 15 years of your life. I used to talk to people, John, and they'd be in the gym. I was in the jail with John, John, I couldn't remember. But I was only doing 3 months. 3 months of your wife and kids' life's a lot of fucking time.
It's all about perspective, isn't it?
I mean, so,
and see when you
it's 20, 50 years, it's still...
No, and it's 15 years for a crime I never committed, which... Again, is similar. It's not as bad as yours, Joe. No, because your case was horrendous. Like, and my case was a bit different. Do you know what I mean? But I still was in there for 15 years, and I suffered. But we've went through the similar kind of paths of going through miscarriage of justice organisation. Now you're starting to kind of integrate with them, and they're a great service.
I'm glad for what you've done, Sean, and I appreciate, and I mean that. And I do go and see them. I'm still waiting to go and see them now, because I've never ever. I used to kid on.
But what you done for Joe?
I said I wouldn't admit to Joe.
What you done for Joe, Sean? I've been saying to Joe for long enough. Fucking Joe, you need to go and get your fucking debriefs, man. You need to go and get some sort of help. You've just been back out here and left these devices. And there, Joe, focus was on his dues. We were always into dues when we were young. And Joe was at his happiest, and maybe that was his way of getting rid of all that pent-up frustration that had been building up in there for many. But he's been all like me, Sean, the great guy, he's took me to see this guy and took me to see that guy. And I'm fucking glad something working out for you now, Joe. It's time now to fucking...
The good thing is, he's better to sell than everything. Do you know what I mean?
I've a lot of people see, especially now because I've got the podcast and stuff. People think that I've got it. So I've not got it sorted. I still get the same stuff. I'm maybe better, a wee bit better. I don't even hide it. I have done a lot of work myself. Understand that I've done a lot of work myself. But I think the key is, I've always said the key is acceptance, right? And it's trying to accept something that's unacceptable, which is very, very hard, right? Because it's trying to accept something that your body, every single bit of your body tells you not to accept. So it's trying to move over that, and I believe I have moved over that now. I believe I'm in the kind of building. But I'll go to yourself, John, because obviously you've done the kind of least it is. Would you say you've got trauma for prison?
So I'd say in my cases, the times I've been in prison, I've done everything that I've been in the jail for, so it's quite natural I was able to kind of just accept my situation. Sometimes I accepted it a bit better than others, so I'm very different in the regards to yourselves. But what I did notice, so yeah, when I was released on tag, I went back into Barlinnie to do like an interview in the radio station, because I used to work in there. And when I went in, I had this anxiety. I just felt as if they were going to shut the gates and lock me in. I ended up getting back into Barlinnie like 2 weeks ago to do another radio interview. Then possibly me and this a girl called Chloe from the Soul Hub were in talks with them about going into, but they've basically got a wellbeing centre where they'll talk about bringing cold water therapy in and all that. We're still in talks right now, so It's not been solidified yet. But when I went in, we went into initially a radio interview, and I'm thinking, right, maybe I was just doing the tag still a bit fresh. That's where the anxieties came from. When I went in, it was kind of alright at first, but I remember at some point I went to use the toilet in there, and I suddenly get that anxiety as if I'm locked in here. I can't get out of here until they let me out. And it was that, no having that power to like get up and just walk out a door, that I need to wait and them coming with a key and walking me out the gate and unlocking it for me.
Well, maybe that wee visit done you the world of good then.
Aye, maybe, because it was like claustrophobia. That's what it felt, because it was like, I felt that, and it was like anxiety, but it was like I felt that kind of trapped in, and I'm like, and I think I might be getting back next week to maybe like to further talks about this course and that kind of thing, man. But I'm wondering, is this something that goes away our time? But is it something, it's same as you say, it's almost a good thing as well, because it reminds you this is what you're coming back to. So is that way that fear can be healthy?
Even if I go to a visit something, I want fucking...
It's visits taste, you go up and you're like, you just can't wait to get back out just so you get fresh air.
I hate visiting. I hate getting a visit in the jail, and I hate visiting in the jail. I could see my pals eating fucking 20 Mars bar, and how the fuck I can't even eat at a visit. So stressed, you know what I mean?
Aye.
But I've done I've been on that Barlinnie radio myself, and I was up there doing we're doing a debate actually. I spoke to a lot of prisoners that we were talking about this Barlinnie special, and we took into the barbed wire incident.
Barbed wireless, aye. It's a nice wee setup they've got, and that's in the resource hub, and the staff that work in there are a lot more progressive. That's what I'm saying, the kind of small percentage that are kind of, right, what can we do to fix things, because now they've started this kind of well-being kind of centre as such. Because when I was in last week, they were telling me they've pretty much all the work parties have all kind of ceased operation now. Like they see the kind of, what do they call it?
Sheds.
Aye, so see, they've got like the kind of the bike shed, like the main ones, the cooks, but see, they used to have like the, what's it called, VR roofing, see the ones that's like
VT painters and
VT painters, that's all shut. But now what they do is they do like kind of, it's no well-being courses, like it's like, rather than go down to a joiner's shed or that, you'll go down to a shed where they'll show you how to fix a cupboard door that comes off. So see stuff that can kind of prep you for like everyday stress of life. But they were saying that like, a lot of the work sheds have kind of like shut now.
I think if I've got to see it, and like I know there's people in Low Moss doing some great stuff, and I know there's people in Barlinnie like Natalie and Cisco and all that. I mean, I can't talk highly enough of that recovery cafe, and I'll just obviously we'll move in, like obviously we're kind of moving up and we're moving on, and what I'm going to take us to kind of rehabilitation, and what you guys think, and what would have helped you, right? What would have helped us if we were in there? What would you have needed? Because I'd done 15 years in prison, and I swear to God, I can't remember anybody coming up and saying, "Sean, are you all right?" 15 years I didn't, but I can't remember like one, maybe once, and at times you were walking about there dishevelled, you were really under a lot of stress, anxiety, hypervigilant state. When I lost my appeal, I kind of really went, I just lost it. Like I ended up kind of on going to the doctors, I was on all sorts of prescriptions, and my head was really wasted. I lost my appeal, and it was my partner that said to me, and my partner's, honestly, she's like the best person that I know, right? She's just a pure diamond, but she said, "Sean, you are going to need to accept this." And I was like, what? It was like a bad word, right? I was like, what the fuck do you mean I need to accept it? Do you honest accept a 15-year sentence for something I've ever done? She went, aye. So I'm telling you now, I'm going to watch these people at like Paddy Hill, and I'm going to watch people at Mojo, and they're full of poison and resentment, and I love them. They're not that, but they're so full of hatred, and I honestly, you don't want this life. And I remember having gone away and thinking about it, and I started reading personal growth books. I started reading a bit of kind of stuff about kind of how you grow yourself, how to evolve your kind of your mindfulness, all that kind of stuff. And it was all about acceptance. It was reading Eastern mysticism and Buddhism and stuff, and it was all about, and even going back to the Bible and looking at Jesus, it was all about acceptance. And that took me into how I was able to rehabilitate. And when I went into Mojo, people walked out. By the way, when I said accept, people went, fuck you off, man. I'm not.
You spoke about acceptance.
When I was in acceptance, people were like guys, quite rightly so, who were doing, who'd done sentences like me and Joe for something had they done, and they walked out and they were like, I can't even believe this guy's talking about acceptance. Which, listen, that's their thing. Mm-hmm. I know it's worked for me. I know it's helped me, and that was my partner, and put out of my family. And I'll say it again, I was very, very lucky with the support network I had, and that's why I survived. Do you know what I mean? I had a great family and a great support network. But so what? I'll go to you, Johnny, and just see what is rehabilitation to you, and did you see any of that? Well, I knew you. I know you never, because just the way we spoke, but.
No, I never seen anything like rehabilitation, and if it did happen, it certainly didn't happen in any of the prisons I was in. And what is rehabilitation anyway? It maybe be a work tour for 6 months parole, at the end of your long-term sentence. Anybody goes through these sentences.
But that's no rehabilitation, right? Really, John. That's just to help you get out the doors.
Aye, but
adjust things like that.
But rehabilitating you is part of the 6 month parole that I go at. So, you know, what could you expect to achieve in 6? It wasn't a probation officer at fucking 25 years of age I needed to see. I should have seen a fucking hold of psychiatrist, psychologist to get debriefed. Because nobody gets through that whole system, that system we were talking about, unscathed.
No.
So
that's why so many suicides, that's what we've spoken about.
I never see, no, I'll tell you what, the only place I could say I've been that was there, had every opportunity and chance to do something good with your life was the Barlinnie special.
Aye.
So the thing would be, you know, don't wait till these guys are halfway out the door or 3/4 way through their sentence before you decide you're going to start getting a wee bit of help here and there.
And we're talking about the worst prisoners, Johnny, like when the special unit was like the worst prisoners in the Scottish prison system, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we're talking about guys like yourself who have now come out and are able to speak about this kind of stuff. Jimmy Boyle's able to speak about it. Some guys who were pretty bad prisoners.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the special unit was able to nurture something there, something that was there.
Well, you've got time in a place like the Barlinnie Special, and you've got time to live your life. You've got time to relive your life. You've got time to start your life over. You've got time to get it together. I mean, rather than go to a teddy bear tailor shop or a fucking game shop or making rocking horses, we're in the Barlinnie Special. You could have done a course in, you know, being a solicitor or a QC or. You can involved in anything you want. You want to be a surgeon, you bring surgeons. They would bring people in to actually help you and encourage you, regardless of where you want it to be. You could be. They would bring the help into you. You were never alone, and they were never. So
you were allowed to kind of connect with yourself again, and you were allowed to kind of personally grow. Whereas I always say, the prison environment is so toxic that you can't grow. It doesn't allow you to grow. Whereas the special unit seems to have been the exact opposite. So who was it that didn't like that?
Well, you had the old dinosaurs, didn't you? You had the old school, you had the old prison system, you had the old Barlinnie, the staff, the governors, you've got the, you know, just not jail, but all the old prisons who didn't want to see prisoners getting that sort of a having that rapport with staff or being rewarded or whatever it may well be. You had so you had the old dinosaurs who were running the system. You had the governors, you had the assistant governor, chiefs and assistant chief, big chief. Then you're into the Home Office, you've got the departmental level where all the ex-screws and ex-governors grew up through the ranks and ended up at the hierarchy in the prison department, whereas if you're saying I need to write a petition, I'm making a complaint about so-and-so and so-and-so, right, okay then, right, that form, fill it in, and it'll be posted in the morning. That complaint would go to somebody who was once a screw in the gallery. You know, so it was a close knit, and there was us and them, and there was a hatred for us, and a hatred from them to us, and for us to them. So they would.
Was that us and them in the special unit, Johnny?
Us and them in the prison system.
But when you went to the special unit, did that us and them change? It was
all first name terms, and no school, no uniform, shirt and trousers, hats, no ties.
So it was working.
So it didn't work. But the people who were against that was the very people who didn't want us back in their fucking jail because they said they didn't want to let us in their jails, and they were happy for us to be there. But they didn't like the screws who thought were mollycoddles. Bear in mind it was an experiment. It was nothing to do with the screws' good nature. It was an experiment, and this is the new rule.
Was a big brother.
You've probably got a lot of good screws in the old main system who were really good guys, but couldn't they get an opportunity to show how good a heart that they had? Because they weren't allowed to talk about making change or doing something that would you would benefit.
Because they were conditioned.
So they were all conditioned. So then we got a place at the Barlinnie Special Unit that does work. And I think there should be places like for all sorts of long-termers all over the place to get them in at the beginning of their sentence and treat them that way. Treat them humanely. Rather than, I'm not talking Manuka, I don't know what Sean's been through with the new system like that, but it certainly can't be as bad as fucking that was back in the day. Do you know what I mean?
What about you, John?
System.
Obviously, that like it's an amazing thing, especially it's amazing to hear like about it and just to even see and discuss it, because it was such a big thing, and to take some of the I know some of the, obviously Johnny Boy, we've only met today and we've spoke before, but your name is kind of well known in the prison system, and the guys who were in the special unit are all the names you hear of being the big kind of the ones that everybody wanted to know and everybody wanted to see. Do you know what I mean? And it's amazing to hear they just a wee bit of humanity. And they were changing, do you know what I mean? So what would you say is rehabilitation to you, Jordan? What would you bring in? What's more? What do you think we need more of?
So, what a big buzzword these days is trauma informed. Is that we understand trauma, we understand PTSD, we understand like how like your childhood upbringing could have adverse effects on you, plus your experience in the prison system, mental health and that kind of thing. We're a lot more aware of it, but we're a lot more educated about it. Some people are, but in the prison system, did you see I don't know what the day when the screws go to SPS college or whatever, it's mainly how to handle a prisoner if they're violent or these kind of things. Are they really teaching people how to deal with somebody? What if somebody's suicidal? Because the last thing you're going to say, the screw, I'm feeling suicidal, because they're going to be like, suicide watch, fucked in there, plastic telly, fucking clay's taking off you. It's like, it ends up making things worse. Nightlight on, doesn't go off.
Don't tell them what to do.
Exactly, and plus as well, it's that thing. Most people that are suicidal won't even tell their best pals, because it's a thing people they clutch on it.
I know that.
Embarrassed with, and that, I don't want people to worry.
Taboo subject.
weakness.
Exactly, man. So it's like in the jail as well. It's like everything's seen as a weakness.
That's it.
If you're not putting on this big bravado thing.
Do you know, I've noticed as well, Jordan. I've seen screws coming from the mainstream of the jail to work in the Barlinnie Special Unit, which you've got to sign up for this kind of thing. And I've seen them stressed out head because they couldn't cope the way the special unit was running, because it was normal. They were used to working in an abnormal prison.
They couldn't cope with the regime.
And I've seen the screw go like, you know what, get the fuck out of here, call a meeting, right, I'm leaving, I can't fucking cope with this.
Because you're traumatised and all.
That's interesting.
Listen,
Very
fucking hell, man. We all felt the exact same way. Everybody feels that way. And the sad and tragic thing is, it's not just fucking us who are traumatised. There's fucking
100%.
great screws, and they're so fucked up.
Of course.
You know, they can't have a rapport with us or be saying, "Ah, you weak watty bastard," talking to or somebody like that. Talk to that fucking dirty rotten screw for.
Exactly.
You've got 8 barriers up.
There's no trust
you know
in
what I mean?
and even see any system in the world, right? If you had any system, if you had any kind of business, and there was a lack of trust, it breaks. There's nothing worse. If us 4 guys didn't trust each other, this podcast wouldn't work.
That's right.
Do you know?
Exactly.
So it's just looking at how do you build trust?
We need to pull together, but we need a reason to pull together.
Of course.
And you know, like we were talking about the
Common reason for us to come together.
Right, you talk about the special unit and the ethos of the special unit and the trust in the special. Although it was abused, but no to a terrible extent.
I know.
So
But
you've got to have reason to have that trust.
How often have you spoken to a screw or having an engagement with a screw and one of the cons like that? Watch that cunt, big fucking snake him, big rat that cunt. You're like, suddenly your guard's up. Well, is he cunt could be alright, but as soon as somebody says, he's a big fucking snake, one for the watching him and that.
You come in to work and they go, right, stay upstairs, dub your door. I'm not shut a fucking door in my life for myself, because that's anybody else, so I didn't do it. But that's what I did. They say, right, upstairs, shut your door. And their whole fucking attitude away back in. But
sorry, on you go, Joe.
I think I preferred that than they used to come in and go, right, Joe, at your bed, man. Fuck that, Joe. You know what I mean? I'd rather, right, steal breakfast or whatever it was. You know what I mean?
And sometimes we could get it all wrong as well. I remember the day I went to the special and I went like a cookie. I said, what the fuck? How did that guy even get down here, man? He was a fucking midden. His nickname was Stoneface.
That's good.
Aye. Cookie's coming and say, laughing. He said, Johnny Boy, She you want to sit down and talk to him. He says, that fucking guy's never put a prisoner on report in his life. He done more fighting with the Screws and the Screws Club than he fucking ever did battling any prisoners. And it turned out it was true. It just had this image when he was up Pete Buck with a big stone face. Oh, what a fucking heart he had. What a beautiful heart he had.
Yeah, you don't realise until you can bring that exterior.
Somebody was asking, this is just, it's going to half a wee bit, but I just, while I remember, was there a pub in Barlinnie? With the Screws have a pub in Barlinnie?
Aye. No, in Barlinnie.
Just outside or something. Did they used to come in? A lot of people say a lot of guys had a lot of drink problems. There was a lot of Screws with a lot of drink problems back in your era.
Especially on Pierhead, because of the fucking stress.
Aye, of course.
We were all making, well, I didn't even drink, but they were all the boys were all making homemade brews because they were stressed. But there was all sorts of
officers walking about the wing. Yeah. And another thing, my pal was saying, I remember my Uncle Tam, it was my Uncle Tam or Don, I think, tells us, you used to be able to get curries and bar.
And special unit,
on remand.
That's right, so you did that.
Get your egg quiz job, you can get curries in the papers. The curry shop.
Get curries in? I remember somebody saying to me, they used to, I remember there was a van passing by McDonald's or Chipman, and somebody's like, I used to take them, they do their orders in the jail and they take them all in, and I was like, see, hanging back, I'm like, he was full of shit. And then, did actually an actual curry for the takeaway?
You go to curries now, you can get your own done.
Was that like once a week or something?
See, when we were in the special unit, Sean,
no, it was more than that.
A Chinese
you could actually get it instead of the meals.
Just in front of gave us in an Indian shop, and we could order curries for the schools. We would don't pick a curry, or it would get delivered.
Aye, as long as you're on one. So I know I went off a wee bit there, and I saw it was just because my pal had said that. But Joe, I'm going to take you because I never really got to. What's rehabilitation to you then? And what did you obviously did you see any rehabilitation?
I can't tell what rehabilitation is, Sean, to be honest. Rehabilitation to me is different probably about the jails are, but I never seen any rehabilitation.
I think one of the saddest things when I watched me and your podcast back, right, one of the saddest things that I think is that you get flung out onto the street after doing 20 years in prison for a crime you never done, they admitted you never done, and not one person chapped your door to see if you were alright.
No.
I think that's outrageous. I think there's absolutely no support.
There was good people with my lawyer and Big Man in Scott and that for the Sunday Bell and that.
Lucky you had a few people but
I was just at the beginning, Johnny, the first few years was fucking brutal, man.
Do you think that part of that was in the sense where we know he's going to fuck up if we leave him out like that kind of, there's a knowledge, like they know your head's going to be scrambled, so if they don't offer it the hand of help, then you're naturally going to butt that fucking lash out.
Unless Jordan were embarrassed to fucking go to him. That's brilliant.
It's that kind of last thing, if they offer the hand of help, it's like that kind of, oh sorry about that, by the way, you want help, but that as if, that kind of way as if still try to have one up on you even though you done nothing wrong.
They'll never forget us anyway. My family in the fucking jail.
I think it's terrible that he's never had an apology.
Have you? No.
See, no, I don't want a fucking apology.
I know.
My co-accusers are all dead.
Aye.
I mean, I don't get a problem with anything, so we're all innocent. Believe you me, they were innocent. No, Angel was not arrested, but they're all dead now. Nobody can apologise to them.
Probably too embarrassed to fucking apologise.
Yeah, I apologise. I don't want to apologise. I mean, I'll never bring my freedom, my back, and all my people back. Or fucking Doyle's nobody. No.
So just to, like we've obviously covered quite a lot, right? But I'm just kind of want to see, like, I'll go you, Jordan. What's your hope then? What's your hope that you would like to see, and what's your take on, like, all this kind of glamorising crime and all this kind of stuff, and people talking about they've done this and done that and all this kind of. Do you think that's a good message for the young team to get told? Or?
Nah, no such, man. There's different ways different people do it, because there's people that kind of touch on their past and go, this is what I've done, but I realise that wasn't the right thing to do. I've kind of changed my life. Look, this, and it kind of gives some credence, it gives some credibility to the work they're doing now. No saying you need to go out and fucking rob shops or stab people in order to have a valid message to pass on. But the people that have came for that, then it gives them more legitimacy, and the people that can relate to that. Whereas when you're in the jail, you go to like knife crime or something like that, and it's some guy that's worked with the police that's teaching you about knife crime, you're like, mate, you've never really grew up in a scheme, you don't know what it's like for people that carry knives, you don't understand the reasoning behind it. Whereas if it's somebody that's done it, you can kind of relate to that a bit more. But I know myself doing a podcast, see the clips about like the war stories and the carnage and all that. That's the stuff that does the most use, because people are interested in crime, because, and it's majority of people that have never had any experience of crime or prisons or that, because it's like, it's almost similar to hearing about life on alien life and planets, because you never experienced it. Like, what's it actually like? What are people like to me? What's the jail like? They just get this curiosity.
They're fascinated by crime, prisons and all that, know what I mean? And I can see why all those stories are made, even me with Dillinger and fucking all that, Biowulf and all that stuff, know what I mean? And that's just the technology now, we can get seabird, things like that. No, I mean, it's everybody, they're always going to be fascinated by crime. You'll get these fucking white collar ones, hang them all, put them here, put them there. I mean, fuck them, but the rest of them are as fascinated by crime. And it's, I love all these things here. I never knew anything about these. I didn't know fucking how to get them on my ways, go get one from and all that. But I love all that, I love all the technology. And see, now, John, doesn't matter what you're doing, you're going to prison. Because see, the technology now, you don't even know you're fucking caught.
You're caught.
Yeah,
Bang your rights.
The good thing is
we were in Zara yesterday, right? We went to Zara yesterday, and what obviously Zara's a show, brand new show, right? Went to Zara. Didn't he pick my missus picked up a dress, my missus picked up a kind of chain thing, and we went up to the counter, and there was absolutely nobody there, and we were like standing there like, what's that? And the next thing, a screen just popped up with the dress and the break. AI was watching the whole show.
Aye, right, and it picked up what you had in your hand without scanning it.
You put it all through yourself, man.
The self-checkouts and that,
So you got to be self-checkout, but you don't
need to scan it.
It just tells you what you've got in your hand.
See, that as well, that's quite a scary thing too, because you look at in China where they've got that social...
One day AI will be guarding the prison.
Oh, aye.
Possibly.
I think crime's is dying a death, you know, in the way that there's no very many.
Well, you look at the jails, it's the majority. I'd say
they get away with, you mean?
You look at it, it's like 90% like shoplifting, domestics, you know, the kind of the big ones.
They're
it's
turning
like
it serious now, and compared to the stuff away back, the messages they take mega serious.
I know, when's the last time you heard of somebody getting away with a murder? But as you look at back, if you crawl back even 20, 30 years ago, you had so many people get away with this, get away with that. Nowadays it's unheard of.
Well, who would have thought we'd ever be sitting doing podcasts like this, you know what I mean? It looks like AI if you go away back to the years. Look to,
no, 100%, know what I mean?
And the good thing about what you're doing, Sean, and other people doing podcasts like yourself, Jordan, that you can now give people the shortcut, you know, younger generation, without glamorising anything, the shortcut to see exactly just how fucking hard the prison life can be and the damage it can do to you, you know what I mean? Otherwise, the Home Office aren't going to advertise it, you know what I mean? They're not going to say, oh, fucking stay out of prison, this is the rules and this is what happens. And so it's down to guys like yourselves that can relay the message to the younger generation, especially, you know, no, I'm not saying you don't get a good laugh in that at times, you know, but, you know, these kind of podcasts should be first and foremost for education and then an entertainment.
100%, man.
And I really think it's a great thing that you're doing anyway, you know what I mean? And especially, you're the last guy who should be fucking sitting there doing something. You should be there fucking rolling about the fucking screws that fitted you up. And yet you've turned it all around, you know what I mean? And you've learned to accept, and, you know, fair play to you, and I take my half, you.
Oh, I appreciate it. I mean, just definitely not the finished article, Johnny, but I appreciate that is where I'm trying. You do try and go down that road, and I get upset when I see young boys. I get upset, and I've still got people that are in my life who I care for a lot, and but you can't help everybody, right? And you need to try and
wasting our lives a little.
I know, and it's sad, but. I don't know. So just as we kind of, I'll just kind of finish up, and I'll let anybody kind of come in. Like, I'll just open the floor for anybody that wants to come in and bring anything to the kind of table. The last 20 minutes, if anybody's want to just come in, and obviously you're going to knock Jasper out tomorrow.
I know Jasper's getting it tomorrow. He's going to need some fucking physical rehabilitation after that. But another thing as well, see what you're talking about there. As much as we can say, there's all these methods, all these different ways to try and help people. The best thing you can do, the only thing you can do is show people the way, because people need to kind of take that. There's people that are sitting in jail right now like, I want to change, I want to do this, I want to do that, but I don't know the way. I'm blind. It's the blind leading the blind. There's some people that just don't want to change, or they're at a point in their life where they're not willing to change, or they're not ready. Maybe they'll never change. You get some people, you just do get that minority of people that will never change, and there's some, they can't really help them, but there's people that just need to be shown that way. Listen, these are the avenues. You don't need to keep doing this, because as you say, it's like, what you know is normal. So if you don't know of any other life, then how can you think about changing yours? And that's what a lot of people struggle with.
I still think that I had like Eddie Gorman was on here, right? And Eddie was high up in organised crime at one point as well. And Eddie was saying like obviously the same thing is like it's all a facade. Or the whole thing's a facade. It's no real. You can't possibly live in that hypervigilant state for that amount of time and be okay with it and have no physical or mental health problems with it. See guys like that, Andrew Tate, who come out and say, "Oh, there's no such thing as mental health." I hate him for that. It's so patronising to people like yourself, Johnny, and people that have had real bad traumatic prison sentences, this and that, and people come out and say there's no such thing as mental health. It really annoys me. Do you know what I mean? Because
it's serial like Andrew Tate.
I don't have any fucking mental health.
I know. It's like see the things.
He was in a Romanian jail for 4 weeks, and he was like, he fucking looked as if he'd been in for 10 years.
That's the thing. But see people like it's this podcast thing as well. You get people that are trying to spread the right information, and I've probably done it in some not in the exact same way, but myself. People just say stuff to be controversial. They might know you mean it. They're just saying it because they know it's clickbait. They know people click on it. People will react to it because people react, they engage, and more people see it. It's the kind of time we live in. It's like it's a mad time. You have got if you compare the two. A lot more people pay attention to the controversial stuff, even if there's no substance to it. It's like the stuff that arises emotion in you, like stuff like that angers you. So most people get angry, they react, they'll say something back.
Make me angry.
Then you get people who divide people, because that's what we're creatures of division. Well, so you look at Glasgow, especially with football and that kind of thing, politics. It's like people were divided in so many ways, and these days, before like 20 years ago, before you'd like Facebook and that, I only heard like if I'm sitting in a room with you, I can hear your opinions in various subjects. Now we're exposed to it. We're exposed to every opinion under the sun. Yep. So after a while, you do react to it, especially if it's something that's kind of close to your heart.
I think society as a whole is broke, you know, and I think that poverty is always going about it. Poverty is the root cause of all it. Do you know what I mean? And poverty is the root cause of the disconnect between yourself at a young age, because whatever's happening in the family home, that maybe ACEs, adverse childhood experience you experience as a child, you get brought up, and as like Johnny and Joe can both say, it's not normal to feel the way you guys did, and as a kid being able to fight your way with men and no care, like get carted with prison, and it's not a normal way to kind of hang it, but it's your normal. Do you know what I mean? That was your normal, and it's took you guys a lot. That's it. It becomes a norm, and you desensitised it, which is very sad. And I think I honestly can't speak highly enough of the two of yous, man. Like the two of yous are passing a message on that a lot of people are. Listen, how many guys do we know that are the big kind of I ams, and you speak to them and within 2 seconds they're telling you how their head's busting and this life's killing me and all that, and then the next thing you'll see them on a fucking podcast going, and you're like, what's...
Aye. It's that facade thing, as you say, because it's all bravado, and it always has been. It's a survival instinct. Because look at when you're young, that's exactly it. It's living up to that reputation that you've built that might not even be you, but it's what people see you as. And that's that.
And I think, see, when I say it's fear-based and all that, people go, I'm not scared of them. Then I go, listen, I know you're not. I'm not saying you're scared of them, but what you're scared is you're scared of getting a sore face, taking a second prize. You're scared of your reputation getting it done. You're scared of your ego getting it done. So it's fear-based. You've built yourself up. You've built an ego for yourself. And it's like Eddie Gorman says, you need that ego to get shattered before you can actually start to rebuild it.
100%,
man. So I always go on about it as being fear-based.
I remember I was up in the cage, I went to the dentist at one point, and it was maxed out with the screws, about 6 screws with me, in a big long corridor, and I seen another screw come up behind with about 3 cons, and they had buckets and brushes and that. Well, fucking hell, man, nice to see a bit of fucking life. You know, the poor cons wouldn't even look my fucking direction.
Terrified.
Aye, scared of what I've been hearing about is that, and I was hurted. Fucking hell, you should be more fucking terrified of the fucking girl, you know, me, a crackpots. And that's when I realised, what the fucking this reputation, this people think, oh, he's some fucking nutcases. I was as winded as you could fucking get when I get treated that way from my fucking fellow prisoners.
No, I think it's sad when you see so many guys, and you'll see it, like they'll talk about the addiction rates and stuff like that in prison, how high the addiction rate is, and you go, so why is a bunch of people that use are saying are like responsible for this or this are these macho guys that are like running like they're big hard men? Why are they all addicted to drugs, and why or do you know what I mean? Like there's reasons for this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's
even that door shots are not fucking top and hard.
no,
Everybody needs an outlet in prison. Whether it's drugs, fucking they get married, marriage,
rebelling,
whatever. Everybody needs that outlet, whether you fucking or grassing or whatever the case may well be. But I've never been one for drugs. I was scared of them, as I told you before. But because I was on so many reports throughout the years, and every day you're on report, the prison doctors will come in and check your ticker and whatever else, make sure you're fit for whatever punishment they're going to give you.
That's right.
So Dr. Manson was up the road there. So he's sitting, he's writing away. He's writing away in his wee bit of paper. And so the white coat says to me, "Come here, we talk with you." This was the surgery screw. I said, "What is it?" These kind of doctors' fucking meetings took place in the governor's order room. He said, "We can help you, Johnny." And I went, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "When we can help you get through this sentence? Well, you can fucking let me out." He said, "Well, we can't do that." I mean, is it I can do to help you? I said, "Oh, like say what?" He says, "I don't know, you tell me, uppers or downers." I went, "She's fucking up my laugh, mate. I'm fucking struggling through this sentence." I said, "If fucking taking in that fucking crap that you're dishing out to people." So I went back to the cell block after I got the punishment. My pals kept us along, Johnny, and I told them, they're shouting, "You're fucking crackpot, you should have took the drug and give it with me." I'd fucking never do that. That's it when they fucking put my name in, lads. I'd rather struggle. Because, taking the drugs that they're giving you are killing you mentally anyway.
You become. I think methadone and all that changed the system, and I don't know if it was for a good way or a bad way, but it helped people at the time and stuff.
It might have been a good thing for the authorities.
I know, that's what I mean. I know.
Saved a lot of problems.
It stopped a lot of, because what people then became reliant on the prison, and they didn't want to lose the script, and they did use it as a weapon. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how it is now, but they certainly used it as a weapon back then, and they would say to people, "You want to go down the digger, and you'll not get your meth for 3 days," and people would go,
Have you think about it, Sean? That was Hitler's regime that invented the methadone.
I know.
Because of the amount of German prisoners who were trying to get away from the front lines to run away and get their hit, so they got the scientists to invent the methadone, and they were all getting their methadone. They didn't want to run away for the trenches because they were getting the methadone that done it, and you see the exact same thing in the prisons. See all the cons lined up, looking those stories.
It's the biggest methadone. Barlinnie is the biggest methadone distributor in Europe.
I
didn't even know they'd done it.
Aye, Joe.
It's got a wee centre, man. You better see it, man. It's mobbed.
It's only about 4 o'clock, Joe.
A wee back in the day, Joe.
And that's what keeps them off the roof, Joe. That's why they're not fucking up climbing and trying to escape onto the roofs or whatever. Right, you want your medication, your Valium or your methadone, you come, they fucking all shut him down the drink pipe.
See, when you brought
I
this...
never get no, if it was heart tablets, no one ever get it, then we'll get that.
No, the drug trends have changed in the way that... But listen, as I say, I really don't want to pure hang of the prison system. We all know there's a really bad, horrible side to the prison system, but there's people like Natalie and that are trying. Do you know what I mean?
It's getting a lot better.
There is people that are trying. Do you know what I mean?
People when I'm at visit, I know that.
And I believe it's people like us that can make the change a day. I honestly believe it's people that are willing to get that.
Tell you something. You've got a point now. You know what the screws says to me oftentimes up in Beerhead Prison? You know something, Steele? See all the trouble yous have been causing for condition Chinese? We've been shouting them for years, and it's took yous to fucking rebel before they even listened.
I know. People don't realise it was you guys, but they go half the stuff that we've got these days, Johnny. Do you know what I mean?
Some of the schools wanted that way back, and the department wouldn't listen to them. No.
Well, when I was in Castle Huntley, there was an officer up there. I'm not going to say his name, but he used to say I would just give his bread and water. That's still there. That's still there in the system. Do you know what I mean? And as Johnny says, when you get the younger ones coming through, these guys are a lot more established. Do you know what I mean, Jordan? They're a lot more established in the way that their views can then go into the younger ones who then take that on. Does that make sense?
100%, man. So you're seeing it a lot. as well, it's like you have to get that kind of passing of the old guard. You do see them, some of the dinosaurs, and they're kind of like the old school cons and the guys that will never change. Some of these screws will just never see it because they've lived through that way, and it's that kind of mentality, straight to the line, bread and water and that kind of stuff. But I think they're slowly but surely getting phased out, because eventually they become the minority. See if there's more screws forward thinking, but you're always going to have the screws that are like, nah, straight to the line punishment. That's just the way society is as a whole. But if you've got more people, if you've got more opposition rather than a majority, because the real reason, there's probably always been screws that have been progressive and thinking for years, but scared to speak out, scared because they're like, this is my work, this guy's doing 12 months, he's going to get out, I'm not getting out, I need to work with these people. These are people I associate, they'll get ostracised.
John, I'm in your family, right? And I swear to God, I must have seen about 8 fucking warders get into my local shop up there. Years ago, they were fucking middle of sticks and away middle of me. They're in amongst us all, and it's fucking totally different. I hear guys with the same one, how are you doing, Tom? And it's not. I go, it's like me, what's it be all crack, big guy.
I know that.
A year ago, when I get served this show with the fucking letter. It's all changed, don't understand that. I've met a couple of decent guys. Oh, man, but still decent ones. When
I was on the Barlinnie special, we used to get people from all over the world. They had to write in to say, can we come and visit the place? And for whatever reason being, so we would have a big meeting. Right, there's a horde of psychiatrists coming from the USA. They want to come and look at the Barlinnie special. Has anybody any objections? And the round robin goes up. Nobody really objected. So, and I was always left to be the one that would run to entertain them. A lot of guys weren't really interested. I mean, it was only fucking 7 years anyway, but nobody was really interested. So it was left for me to do it, but I get pleasure with that. Yeah, I'll take you around and explain the ethos of the unit a bit and explain how this system differs from the old system and why it's such a success. So this day, the governor reads out a letter. He said, I've got a letter here, guys, for the Glasgow and Strathclyde universities. He says that they're a debating society, and he says that they want to know if they can come up to the special unit to put on a debate, and the theme is hang them or flog them. So they were for hang them and flog them, and we were for rehabilitate them. So anyways, so the governor's like, what do you think of this? No, we're like, oh fuck that, man, who's on it? Oh fucking. So it was 2 universities, Glasgow and Strathclyde, who joined forces to come up, and they tried to get it televised, but the Home Office says no, maybe the next time. So, and you know, and I was a cheeky bastard, you know what I mean? I learned to be a cheeky cunt and swear at every handstand rather than sit down and have a debate or try and negotiate a situation, you know what I mean? It was easy for me to get a middle finger, you know, fuck off, short and sweet. So the governor's like, Eddie Campbell, said, well, I'm quite willing to go on it. And there was another fella, George Sharkey, who was a civilian, born-again Christian, who was just a worker in the special unit. Then there was Professor David Cook, he was a psychologist. So they three have volunteered to do it. So they were like, right, we need a prisoner now. And I'm like, you feck of that, man, I ain't fucking going in front of these cunts, man. They brought in these fucking surgeons and QCs, and you know, they were really up mentally, you know what I mean? So well, come on, we really need somebody. And I was like, so Johnny, what about you? And I was like, oh, fucking count me out. And I mean that. So there's not really any point in this debate going ahead. They put a prisoner. So anyway, I wouldn't say I was coerced into it, but you know, the element was a wee bit twisted. Come on, Johnny, you're the man. You know, and this is the truth. So I went, okay, I'll do it. I was sort of up my mouth, Joe, what the fucking fud. I envisioned me sitting in that wee special school, that wee grey van going to the special school as a kid. What the fucking fud, man, you should have kept your fucking... And the wee voice, and he's going like, you should have kept your fucking big mouth shut, you fucking idiot. And then a wee voice going like, listen, don't listen to that cunt, just keep yourself calm. I'm like, I used to fucking go into a self-induced coma just to fucking go to the road there. And leading up to the debate on the night in question, we're around the back and we're all getting dressed up, and I've got a nice tuxedo suit that came from Slater's, the tailors that was hired out for me in the special for this debate. I tried to look fucking smart even though I wasn't. And I can hear they had the bagpipes and that when I come in, they had other followers, these cunts there. And I was like, fucking hell, man, I'm fucking trying to look fucking smart with a Italian suit and that one. I went, fucking, I seen these cunts in the kilts, man, I felt like a tramp, because you can't outsmart that fucking, that national dress, you know what I mean, regardless of what the colours are. And I was like, oh, fucking, it was getting closer, and I fucking hear this high-pitched noise in my ears again, I'm fucking going to faint, man. And I was trying to wall it on, I said, if I want to ever faint any time in my life, I want to fucking collapse, it better be right now. Me, Johnny lying there, I did fly with the two legs up there, and I went, oh, fucking hell, man, I need to get the fucking idiot, man, I couldn't find a way out of it. Because my man on him when I was visiting for a while. And we've got the two teams there, fucking, and their team and your team, you've got a 3 minute. You've got a 3 minute speech to give your topic, and if you go over the 3 minutes, you lose a point, and if you go under the 3 minutes, you lose a point. If you go like that, excuse me, sir, and I can say yeah, you go, what was the score with Celtic last week, and it throws you off your flare. I mean, or excuse me, sir, and I say nay, so you can lose a point. You know what I mean? So it was just a week in a point system. So my head was fucking buzzing, and I've got weeks to practice this, and I know where I'm going with it. Fucking so I thought. The night in question, I went, no what? Right into the toilet, I went into my cell, because you couldn't get drink in the Barlinnie special. I'm not saying we didn't do that, but it was a taboo, you couldn't show it or brag about it. We caught a bottle of brandy. Right into the toilet at the end of the block. And instead of having the wee half doors, they used to have to put the full doors on for the visitors. So I'm sitting in the toilet, I can hear, where's Johnny Boy? I've got my feet against the door with a wee snubber. We had a wee chap at the door. You in there, Johnny? It was George Sharkey, the born-again Christian. He was an ex-SAS guy, a dangerous cunt. And he came back to work, he was a do-gooder, you know. I said, George, get the fuck, I'm not coming out. He said, I'm looking fucking out here. I'm like, man, I'm staying with you. I went, really? I opened the door. I said, fucking hell, George, who's up? He went, look, and he was shaking like a leaf. And I went, fucking, I've got a wee helping hand here. You want something? So he threw us down that. Now, after a wee bit, I used to put the undiluted Ribena in with my brandy. I was never a drinker as such, yeah. And it was like a glow, it was like a fucking medicine. Oh, and I started getting cocky. I said, like, fuck it, George, let's go and do these guys, man. And we were sitting out there and we get the... I still couldn't fucking think of what I thought of all these weeks we had to build us up. All I knew I was going to talk about the prison system, and they started it off first anyway. They started the debate, and of course they're for hangman flogging them, and I give no reason why that may well be. And I'm next, fucking hell, that's when I wanted to go into that self-induced coma, and it was never going to happen for me. I wanted that big high-pitched noise. I just wanted a any excuse to get away from it in case I made a cunt of myself, do I? So anyway, something happened out the fucking blue, because I had blank, it was just a blankness to me, And the only thing I would keep in my head was a bit of verse. I wrote a lot of verse on the job, a bit of verse that I wrote when I was in the cages and so you can find me, you know.
Some of the stuff's great.
And I felt I was there for a long time, and I went, fucking hell, man. And out of anywhere, all it came out with was, there stand a jail by the sea, some say reeking mad with sin, and although there are men who may never get out, why there's some who don't get in. Some say it was the devil's den that erupted out of hell, and there's some who'll say in their philosophical way, it served its purpose well. But I'd like to tell a story. In fact, I promise too, that these jails are full of decent guys, but I leave that up to you. And should you find my judgment sound, then I guess it says a lot for all the men who lay in here for any good in them to rot. And I don't want to talk about how society was getting robbed as taxpayers. Anyway,
Brilliant, man.
I stoked on the 3 fucking minutes. Next thing I knew, the place was an uproar, and I won the debate for them. And that was the first time in my lifetime I've ever been respected for doing the right fucking thing. And we've had to jump onto that roof with respect for all the country. But
it just shows you how that wee bit of humanity and that showing you that you can do something else, Johnny. And I've heard some of your stuff. Some of your stuff's really good, and you're really talented. Do you know what I mean? And it's it just shows you, but like it's just bringing in that bit of humanity, giving people that. I was getting congratulated, to be honest, and governors the next day walking well, and really proud of you, Johnny. We knew you had it in you, and you want to start going to.
First time I met Big Shuey Collins, Joe's pal Shuey Collins, the lifer.
Big shit.
He went, used to go to the university, Johnny, and do what they call TED Talks, Jordan. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to do that. And so they take me to Edinburgh. I don't even know I'm going there. I know I'm going to Edinburgh, I don't know where I'm going with the screw. And he takes us into this fucking part of the university, and we're up on this wee balcony, what the fuck are we here, man? Next thing, Shuey appeared out from behind the curtains. And he was really nervous, the bald Shuey fella, and he didn't know I was up there, and I could see he was kind of, he was really nervous. I was like, Shuey, I'm up here, so I'll get your back. He's like, Johnny Boy, and I'm fucking trying to climb down the screws. Like, don't fucking go down there, you break your legs. And me and Shuey were standing, and I was standing on the galley, shouting down to Shuey to give him that wee bit of moral support. And I get really great pleasure out of that, as I get great pleasure out of fucking helping other people. Maybe somebody goes like, yeah, fucking, I've not got any money, you go, a wee tenner for you, and well, and I truly appreciate it, you know what I mean? But I did get pleasure out of that, because I was now on a different level. But the fucking thing that set me back when I ended up getting involved with your Joe, when I came out of jail. I mean, I knew.
It's a personal thing, but into
I knew. People say to me, John, you met a great probation officer. I say, fuck aye, I'm not fucking back to fucking jail with Joe, man. Because I knew what had to be done for Joe.
I know.
Had to be done. And I felt as if I wasn't involved in it wholeheartedly. And I might not have transpired, you know what I mean? So, and I was quite happy that I'd managed to fucking do what I said I would do for a minute.
Fucking happy as me, bro.
Yeah, I know.
No, I think the two of yous are brilliant, man. I love the two of yous, honestly. The two of yous are great. But listen, so it's coming up to an end, and it's been absolutely amazing having everybody on, honestly. I think it's been an absolutely brilliant episode. But I'm just going to give everybody a wee kind of message just to, at the end, just whatever wee kind of couple of minutes, right? On you go, Jordan, big man, you take it away.
So, no matter where you're in life, if you're in jail, outside of jail, man, you're struggling in any way, shape or form, reach out, man. And I can understand if you don't want to reach out to an authority figure or like a qualified person, man, but reach out to somebody you might be able to relate to. That's the powerful thing about these podcasts. You can hear people telling their story, and it's people like ourselves that have been there as well, that have trusted people or I've trusted the wrong people. It's like, just reach out, man, speak it, because it'll eat away at you inside, man. And as you see, you could end up bitter, you could end up bitter, you could end up in a moment of madness doing something that you regret and that affects your full family's life. You end up not hearing anymore, man. It's like every issue you're going through, there's definitely a way to work around it, but the first thing you need to do is speak it. And if it goes without saying, don't get the jail. It's shite. No, I mean, if you've took any inspiration for us, man, if just listen to the stories you hear, avoid all the kind of the glamour stories and listen to the actual raw truth of it, man. It's a place of hopelessness and despair. No matter how progressive it can be, it's not as progressive as living outside in the free world, man. So aye, anybody else that wants to say it?
Yeah, well, I could only reiterate what you already said, but I'd like to say additionally that, you know, that isn't the place to be. No prison is the place to be. Nobody likes to see their siblings going to prison, their sons or daughters, whatever the case may well be. And there's always a way to avoid that. It's just getting to know how to avoid it and talk to the right people. Otherwise, you could end up with fucking me and Joe. And, you know, sometimes the sad and tragic thing about our lives and our upbringing is you find an enjoyment in there, and all that, amongst all that fucking pain and frustration and bitterness, and you find an enjoyment in there which isn't good for you. But it's better to have that wee bit of enjoyment, which is you only find in the subculture. Mm-hmm. You have that, well, I should run away from the house and all, teaming up and ganging away for whatever reason we will be, and that's how it basically all kind of starts out. But then, you know, there's always a way out. Always a way out, but you just need to talk to the right people. If you end up talking to the wrong people, then you can be led astray. You know what I mean? 100%. And just look at the podcast. The shortcut now is there's many podcasters out who's there to educate the younger generation and put them wise to any bullshit that's already in their head and let them see what that is for the reality of it. You know what I mean? So fair play to any of yourselves that's putting the message out there. I know you used to, I know I've done it as well.
It's the best outside. I've heard a lot of people talking about, especially you're up fucking loving all, man. Good boy. But I love him and it's to see it, and I'm looking forward to your ring tomorrow. You find that, but it's a sad world, I'll tell you that, man. The jails, my advice is to get a fucking job. Don't get any bother, get a job. You see, when it's 10-year, 3-year, 10-year, whatever, see, after you come out all the years later, all that stuff you've wasted, all your kids, every fucking... If I could turn the clothes bad, I'd join the army, man. I'm telling you. Jails, I'll never fucking see inside the jail again unless I visit. Never. And God love the ones that's left, man. I've got a hell of a fight against it, put ahead of them.
Yeah.
I think the kind of raw truth, just the whole thing has been like, there's a kind of side of it where when you can become comfortable in a terrible place, but the damage that does to you can be sometimes irreparable for most people. Yeah. And I think that when you disconnect for yourself so much in these toxic environments, it's very hard to find you back. But listen, honestly, guys, I can't thank you enough. It's been absolutely brilliant having you on, man.
Mine, man.
Absolutely
I enjoyed it.